I know you guys put Alexa in a microwave.
Yeah, we're putting her in a lot of stuff now. But trust me, there are a lot of fails.
Like what?
Like...
Alexa, play my podcast.
When you heard that, did that surprise you? Bark seems exciting.
We made an Alexa dog collar. 4 dogs.
Ordering dog food. Ordering dog food.
You can bark all you want. I'm not paying for any more dog food.
Ordering gravy. Ordering sausages.
Hey, you better cancel that order.
Alexa hot tub, a sucked.
Alexa, play music. Okay.
And then there was the incident.
Wait, that was you guys.
I don't know, was it?
Powering down. Powering up. Powering down.
She says she's doing it, but I don't see anything. Do you? Holy.
Stop me now.
I'm not talking to you.
'Cause I'm having a good time, having a good time.
Audible members know listening has the power to change us, make us better people. With Audible, you get more. 2 Audible originals, exclusive titles you can't find anywhere else. Plus, a credit good for any audiobook and exclusive fitness and wellness programs. All with our commitment-free guarantee and always ad-free. The most inspiring minds, the most compelling stories, the best place to listen. Download Audible and start your free trial today.
Newark is a city with an amazing history.
What better way to demonstrate our commitment to the community than taking a jewel that had tarnished from years of decay, restoring, resurrecting this amazing space.
The cathedral has such a storied history. It really was a community center, a vibrant religious center, but also had a theater and also had a school attached.
The windows actually speak to some of the great inventions of social science and the humanities.
So it's just a really strong symbol for what's anchoring us on the north end. How do we make sure that corporate giving is not a charitable checkbox? How are we really, truly engaging with the city?
We're really involved with schools. We give every high school student here in Newark a Fire tablet and a free membership to Audible. Audible is committed to hiring members of the community to work here and really elevate their lives.
The talent base that's here, the educational institutions. Newark is hands down a city for innovation.
If you want to get like young, talented students who are fresh out of college with new ideas, this is the best place to do it.
I envision buzz, the energy, inspiring, motivating.
The downtown is coming back. There are other companies getting with the spirit of coming into Newark. We started a venture fund called Newark Venture Partners, which was designed to plant more little Audibles that can grow large as we have. Newark's open for business, so I would encourage anybody out there with a startup idea or the CEO of a company, give me a ring.
Today, faster than ever, the world is changing because opportunity is raging. Mixed reality, changing the world we see. Intelligence to build it like we always hoped it would be. But it's not really about what technology can do. It's about how it's used by you. In the end, it's just a tool, so bring it. What's a hammer without a person to swing it? Your possibility is endless, your limits are few. So here's the real question. What will you do?
Towards the end of my schooling, I was kind of anxious because as a computer engineer, I wanted to be employed when I graduate because I have a lot of friends that aren't employed. When I first heard of this internship, I wasn't sure what, enterprise architecture was. I wasn't sure if I'd just be there to just kind of do the busy work. But once I came to Prudential, my opinion was valued. They want to hear what you have to say. The second week, we brainstormed about how new technologies can give information faster and help customers be more knowledgeable about their financial lives. And we realized that voice assistants would be a good channel to pursue. It was challenging because of all the coding that needed to be done. I was very happy that I get to apply what I learned in school because it's one of my passions. So I would start work and then all of a sudden it's 5 o'clock and I wouldn't even recognize it because I've just been so focused. It took about 10 weeks to go from idea to a working prototype. My team supported me a lot of different ways, and everyone in Prudential was super willing to help out. Before long, I actually had a job offer. It feels good when we use technology to help people with their lives. Alexa, what's the weather like today?
Right now in Hoboken, it's 76 degrees Fahrenheit.
Alexa, ask Prudential Retirement, how much do I have in my retirement account?
Your most recent account value is $311.95.
I guess I have a ways to go. I'm Anthony Satola, and I work in technology at Prudential.
Hi, Bixby. Find me a restaurant nearby. How about a French bistro? Great. Make a reservation. Bon appetit.
What's the song again? Hi, Bixby. What song is this?
Here is what I found.
Demands are always growing, but the amount of time you have is not. Somewhere between shifting deadlines, endless revisions, complicated contracts, you still need to find that perfect voice.
This week on
Carefully still handled.
Side effects may include dry mouth,
Cut out the noise. Finding voice actors should be easy. Voices.com helps you to quickly and easily find the best voices for your project with custom additions in as little as 24 hours. Get a voice that stands out, meets your specs, and makes your vision come to life in a way that's undeniably awesome.
This car isn't just memorable, it's unforgettable.
You deserve the win. Do without the struggle. Voices.com. Sign up for your free account today.
When I'm walking in, I'm thinking about all of the different companies that I can have some sort of impact on their success today. There's a lot of that work is through email and phone calls, and then a lot of it is face-to-face, talking to our founders regularly to understand where they are, where they need to be, how we can help. Hi, I'm Allison Williams. I'm the Director of MVP Labs at Newark Venture Partners. It's a Bridge to Seed accelerator program where we invest in 8 to 10 companies twice a year. So far, we've invested in 65 companies. Over the past 3 years, we've deployed $22 million of our capital. And if you look across our portfolio, our founders have raised over $250 million in venture capital.
My name is Wole Coxum. I'm the CEO and founder of Mobility Capital Finance, and we are a financial inclusion platform.
My name's Sam Cayucci. I'm the founder and the CEO at OneHuddle. OneHuddle is a workforce training platform. We get employees ready to work using games.
There are many advantages to basing your company out of Newark. We're an 18-minute train ride from New York City. The cost of living is much more advantageous than what you'll find in New York. New York actually has the fastest internet in the Northeast. We are surrounded by incredible talent.
We're taking advantage of the cohort of students that Rutgers has to offer, hiring them both as interns and as full-time employees.
You also have a tremendous responsibility.
Welcome to Voice. Give it up for the Voice Band. More about them in just a moment, but you just have been listening to, while you filtered into this room, the sonic identity and the sonic brand and experience of Voice Summit. And I want to point out Audrey Arbini from Audio Brain and her team who came up with that. Give it up for Audrey Arbini and our Audio Brain. Thank you. That sound is going to be the identity of this conference from here into the future. It will evolve, it will change, but when you hear that, you'll know where you are, and you'll know why you're here. If you notice that song, ooh, oh, ooh. Ooh is the very first sound we made as human beings. And I think there's just something about that. This is a voice conference. This is about all our voices. So I want to try something here. And you all are going to participate. So I'd like the band, can you bring that song back? And we're going to do a little call and response. So the band is going to call, and then we're going to respond. And it's going to go 3 responses, and then we're all going to do the ooh, whoa, whoa together, okay? Are we ready? We ready for that? Okay. This may not be how most tech conferences start, but this is a voice conference, okay? So, everybody has a voice. If you are a child growing up in the toughest neighborhoods, you have a voice. If you have a disability of any kind, mental, physical, you have a voice. If you're an entrepreneur chasing a dream, trying to figure out how to feed your family, you have a voice. Every voice is welcome here. So let's do this together. Let's create something special. Band? You ready?
1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, whoa. Ooh, whoa.
Ooh, whoa.
Ooh, whoa. Ooh, whoa.
Come on, we can't hear you.
Come on.
Respond. Ooh, whoa. Ooh, whoa.
Ooh, whoa. Ooh, whoa. Ooh, whoa.
Let's go. Whoa.
We want to hear you.
Whoa. Come on, team. Let's do this.
Everybody.
We're going to keep going until the whole room goes. So I'll just stick around here all morning.
You got it.
Your turn. Whoa. Your turn. Good.
Better. How about two more?
It's last chance.
Your voice matters.
Whoa. Okay. All right. Okay, I just want to quickly recognize this band because this isn't any normal band.
That's for sure.
Here you've got Christy Karen Smith from Seattle, singer-songwriter, who's one of the best singer-songwriters in Seattle, but she also happens to be my sister. Welcome, Christy Karen Smith. Her husband, Steve Smith, is a legendary drummer, has a new book coming out called Keys to the City. He also runs and owns Seattle Drum School, along with my sister. They teach 17 disciplines, 550 students, changing people's lives every day, giving them a voice. Give it up for Steve Smith. My dear nephew, Owen, he not only is my nephew, he's an artist and a musician in Brooklyn. He also does all the signage all around the campus that you see here for Voice Summit. Let's give it up for Owen Jones. So clearly very proud of my family. Thank you so much for coming out and supporting this conference. Let's give it up one more time for the musicians. Christy and Steve are also playing tonight at the Grammy Museum for our Sonic Brand Society event kickoff, and you're going to know more about that as the day goes on. But if you want to catch them live at the Grammy Museum tonight, that's going to take place from 7:30 to 9:30. That's going to be a hot ticket, so get your RSVPs in. We'll be sending out links to that, so it's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, so let's get this party started. You may not know me, maybe you do. You get a lot of emails from me, I'm sure. I'm Pete Erickson. I'm the founder of Modev, and I'm the creator of Voice Summit, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be here. This truly is a dream come true for me. But our whole purpose, why this company even exists, Modev, is, 10 years ago, I brought some developers around mobile development, hence the name Modev, to a pizza shop. 10 years ago, 12 people in a pizza shop, and I immediately started seeing something interesting. Just by being a convener, by bringing people together, lives started to change. People got jobs, or they formed companies with each other. They went off and got funded, and then they went and exited the companies. And lives were changing. People were getting jobs at companies, and I would get these notes saying, hey, thank you so much for what you did. You really changed my life. And I thought, well, that's a pretty fun cause. And I put aside all the other ambitions that I had and just focused solely on building community. And I think it's one of the best decisions I've ever made. This is not possible at all, though, if you don't have a community. So first off, I want to thank all of you who came in from 26 countries, 5 continents, all across the United States to be here for Voice Summit and to change your lives and change other people's lives. Let's give it up for everybody in this room. Thank you so much. You will see our sponsors being recognized throughout the week. You're going to go into the expo hall or down our startup alley. You're going to see 150 companies that are supporting this event. Let's give it up for our sponsors. And I especially hats off to Amazon Alexa, who helped start this conference last year with some seed funding to get it going. And here they are back in a bigger and better way. Their Alexa smart home is up there. The Alexa Fund is here. And David Isbitsky, who's going to be coming up as our first keynote, has some special announcements from them, some really breaking announcements, so that's very exciting. We really appreciate their partnership, as well as all of the other sponsors that are so important to us. Also, we have so many partners that, I think we have more than 100 partners that help make this possible. The speakers, we have 400 speakers to this conference. We are, as tech conferences go now, this is becoming a thing, and we really love being a platform for all of this knowledge sharing. So let's give it up for our speakers too. They work so hard. Give it up for the speakers. And then our staff. So you will see Modev staff running around. Today we're all wearing the Love Has One Voice shirts. This is a limited edition shirt that Adam on our team created for this event. It is available. I think there's going to be a few left in the pop-up shop if you're interested. But today we're wearing these, but you'll also see us in the Modev shirt. I call them the motivators because that's what they do for me. But they're part of this team and part of helping to make your experience great. And I just love that crew. Companies are a collection of people. And when the story is written about Modev, it's a story of people. And me being lucky enough to find the right people from around the world. We're a global team, and we just find people that love to build community, and that's all I can ask for. And then we've got our volunteer staff. Let's give a big round of applause for the volunteers who come and give their time. And then I just want to recognize this Newark community. Newark has been, when we did a national search to find the right place to build Voice Summit, we selected Newark in a competitive bid. So Newark beat out other major cities, and it's because of this beautiful building, but it's also because they had a community ready to welcome us, community of technology companies, Fortune 500 companies, and this outstanding institution, the New Jersey Institute of Technology. Let's give it up for NJIT. This is hard work. Putting on events is hard work for everybody. We push people to the limits as well. And so just recognize the hard work when you're out there. You'll see people in red shirts from NJIT there to help you make your way around. You're on a campus you may not be familiar with, and there's a lot of buildings and ups and downs and walkways. We're doing our best to have people out there. So find somebody in a red shirt or a Modev shirt or a blue volunteer shirt. We're going to get you the help you need. So I want you to have a great time. We have a lot planned, a lot of fun social activities as well, and mostly just connect with one another. And if I can just have you all do one little housekeeping thing, and that is use the app. So please download the app. It's the Whova app, W-H-O-V-A, and you can connect to Voice Summit. On the back of your name tag is how to get the app installed. And if you're going to visit the expo halls, for example, that's the way that you can connect with sponsors and also how you can connect with each other. So there's a QR code in there. You can connect with one another. So we want to build more community. And if you've downloaded the app, you'll see there's a lot of traffic on there. So thank you so much. Use the app and have a great time. And I'm going to be around as well. So you can always grab me. The buck stops with me, whatever you need. All right, let's get this started. I am really pleased to introduce our keynote speaker, a man that I got to meet last year when we did this search, and I was convinced after I met him and that we had made the right decision to settle in Newark and at NJIT. This institution, it's interesting, it's on par with like the MITs of the world, and I didn't know NJIT before we really started this process. And there's a little irony that you're going to hear about when I bring Dr. Bloom up to introduce our first keynote. So let's do that. Dr. Joel Bloom, please come up and introduce our opening keynote, Mr. David Isbitsky. And thank you again, sir, for all you do for us and what you're doing for this community. Thank you.
So clearly there are many multi-dimensional people here in this room, and every time I meet Pete Erickson, who is truly, I've come to call him an impresario. I didn't realize he has his own band. He sings. Pete, next year, I look forward to meeting the next Pete again. So thank you for all that you do, Modev, and bringing these folks to Newark. Newark is the largest city in the state of New Jersey. It is the fastest growing tech hub in the tri-state area. That was reported this past week. It's also home to 55,000 college students, staff, and faculty. So while you're here, and I know several of you, many of you, by the time I left here yesterday, a number of you were trying to make your way between the raindrops to various venues here in the city. Please continue to do that. Here at NJIT, we are the state's public polytechnic university, one of 32 in the nation. I thank Pete for elevating us. No one will ever replace MIT, but we're moving up, significantly moving up. We're a growing institution. We will open this fall with about 12,000 students, a total of about 140 new faculty in the past 7 years. Our research, we're now in R1. There are only 131 R1 universities in the country, and we're one of them. We're probably one of the smallest in that group. High intense research, bringing money to the state from the feds and elsewhere. So the R1 designation is very important. The designation that we've received about 2 years ago is the most important one to me, however. And that is, we are #1 in the nation. You may have seen this banner here on campus, for taking young men and women who come here as freshmen with family income in the lowest quintile. 10 years of employment, these young men and women on their upper quintiles of earnings. So we're #1 in the nation for having repeatedly achieved that outcome from this mega economic study that was done of higher education in the nation. So #1 in the nation. You can applaud that if you feel moved to do so. Thank you. So this conference is amazingly exciting to me. I don't know how you woke up this morning. Alexa and I had a conversation about the weather, about traffic, about the national news this morning. You get into, and then we talked to the thermostat, a little humid this morning where I live, so we elevated the air conditioning. You get in your vehicle, you go to your phone. Voice activation is just this emerging technology, continuing to improve every year. The companies behind this, I had the good fortune, you mentioned Seattle. I was out in Seattle for 6 days last week, had opportunities to meet with Microsoft, Amazon, and another place where a lot of our alums are, Boeing. So it's just moving so rapidly, and to have the opportunity to host you here, for you to engage, learn, and network is something that we are very proud of. Talking about pride, the keynote speaker that you will hear from first happens to, Pete described it as an irony. I just describe it as a natural continuation of what we do here. We create the workforce that is leading technology. So you are going to hear now from David Isbitsky. David is an alum of this institution, 1998 alumnus. I was the dean at the time of our Albert Dorman Honors College when I first met David. And then I got a chance to re-meet him, revisit with him this past year. So David's title, and the first time Pete told me his title, I said, this can't be real. His title is Chief Evangelist at Amazon for Alexa and Echo. I'd never heard, other than a religious setting, Chief Evangelist. So it is my extreme pleasure to invite up our alumnus, David Isbitsky, the Chief Evangelist.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, I have a mic. Good morning. Everybody stay dry. Gosh, it is so incredible to be here with all of you. I mean, Pete, you all know, Pete's an incredible person. I've known him for a while. I hid from him the fact that I went to NJIT, by the way. It was just serendipity that when he approached me last year was like, hey, I'm gonna host this in Newark. And I was like, oh, I went to school there. He's like, you went to school there? Where did you go? And I was like, NJIT. And, you know, I reminisce back to those times. I grew up, you know, in a family. We didn't have a lot. I was the first person to go to college. And NJIT, I could go to college because I got a scholarship. And I remember I was just talking to one of my old professors. This is like 92. I remember walking these halls and being so excited because I would see things like computer vision, machine learning, right? Sound familiar? But we were limited by these computers. It was basically floppy disk, right? I think we were giving out to students 386s back then, right? On the 5¼ floppies. And to see that and to see how things have moved along, I know some of the other speakers here, I know both Noel and Adam, who've been involved in this space, and just, I'm gonna bring some people up here. Just thank you for sharing this stage with me. I'm just so excited to be part of this community and how things have moved. Now, how many people were here last year? Okay. So last year, I talked about something near and dear to me, and it gets to the inclusiveness of voice. There's just so many affordances that speech give us, right? It's the first time, I don't know about you all, it's the first time in my life that my kids are just as excited and up to speed on the tech as my parents, right? I mean, my dad, I can actually talk to him about Alexa and Echo, and there's no barrier there. And so when I was invited to come back, first of all, I said no. I was like, there's plenty of smarter people that can get on this stage. But when it came to the point that I was going to be here, I said, why don't I build on what we had last year about that inclusiveness? And how do we get to the next phase? And so in order to do that, I think the first thing we need to do is recognize where we've been. So how many people here got an Echo device in 2014? Wow, nice. How many people 2015? 2016? How many people just got an Echo within the past 6 months? Okay, awesome. So it's crazy to think, but 5 years ago, if we were interacting with technology in our house, we were walking around and looking at our phones, right? I was thinking about this the other day. And now, all of us have been introduced to the idea of ambient computing. Just the ability to talk naturally and have conversation. And that's one of the things is Amazon, I mean, there are so many smart computer scientists at Amazon who've been working on this problem for decades. But to put it in a product where we had far-field speech recognition, and NLU, natural language understanding. I talked a little bit about NLU and ASR last year. And then the ability to have lifelike speech. Alexa didn't sound like a robot. She sounded like a person. And in fact, some of the first reviews were people saying, I love you, Alexa, right? What do you do in response to that? And it's that connection as a human being that conversation gives. And for me, as someone, you know, I had worked in this area of technology my whole life. I had worked in mobile, I had worked in web, but I hadn't worked in speech. I was a devices person, but it was a new learning journey for me. And here happens to be the first slide ever that I did with Echo back in 2014. And even then, we knew it was a journey. We said, Alexa is always getting smarter. And we knew what we had to do was open up with an API to see what all of you could build. And so, as time moved on, we created new APIs, new funds. I started to have weekly office hours that I met all of you. Some of you are here today in the audience. And relationships formed. Communities started to build. And I've been incredibly honored to be part of this, just to see some of the folks, if you haven't checked these things out, you know, we have VoiceBot with Brett, and we have Voice XP, and we have Earplay, and Vox, and Project Voice, and the list just goes on of all of these community members that you don't have to go and listen to me and Amazon, is that you can go out here and you can listen to podcasts, and people who have been in this space love this space and continue to drive innovation. And we're having now, this is a partner page that you'll see on Alexa, we're seeing lots and lots of agencies now who are creating voice-first experiences. Again, this wasn't happening 5 years ago. Some of this wasn't happening even 3 years ago. So thank you. Thank you for being part of this community and letting me be part of this community. So what's new with Alexa? You know, we started out, we had 10 skills. I remember being around a table looking at some of these skills, and we're now over 90,000, which has been created by you. How many people here have created an Alexa skill? Wow. How many people here have a developer background? See, that's super cool to me. That was maybe 20%. And it's the affordances that building speech will give you when you're creating these experiences. It's not actually how good you can code, it's how good you can converse. And so we're over 90,000 skills, we're in 80 plus countries, 14 language variants. Alexa is in lots of different devices. Those Bose headphones you probably see as my Twitter profile. I happen to love those. There's hundreds of third-party devices, but there's also over 60,000 smart home devices. How many people here have a light bulb or a thermostat or a plug or something that's controlled by Alexa today? How many people here got the Echo Auto on pre-order? Because every time I tweet about Echo Auto, I get the, come on, Dave, I'm still waiting, because we had over 1 million pre-orders. But it's super interesting to be able to have Alexa anywhere that you want. So whether you're sitting in the hotel room, or you're using your phone, or you're at home, or you're in the car, you're going to see this across both Echo devices as well as Alexa devices from third parties.
Alexa has already helped to simplify your life at home and make you more productive. And now you can take her with you on the road with Alexa Auto. Before you ever walk out the door, use Alexa Connected Car Skills to get your vehicle ready to drive. Once inside, you can enjoy the same Alexa experience you know and love. And lots more, designed for the vehicle. Alexa can control your smart home devices in case you forgot to. Help you stay in touch with friends and family. And help you make the most of your commute when the unexpected happens. She has you covered while at work and is waiting for you on your commute home. She can jot down a note when something crosses your mind and add items to your grocery cart. Alexa can even drop in on your family to let them know you're on your way home. So you can keep your hands on the wheel and eyes on the road. Alexa lives in the cloud, so she's always getting smarter. Learn more at amazon.com/Alexa-Auto.
And it's such a delight to hear from customers, whether in person, like a conference like this, reading the reviews, or getting an email of how Alexa has become part of that everyday routine. And when I work with brands and publishers, I'm starting to see a very interesting thing too, is as you look through this, you know, we just heard this morning of listening to a flash briefing and weather in the morning, right? Listening to music at lunch, or doing homework in the evening, maybe playing even a game in the car on your way to work, is there's opportunity here to meet people in the moment where they are. In fact, I was talking to an internal comms team at a big company who now has a flash briefing. How many people here work at a large company and actually read the email from your CEO? Right? Oh, wow, is your CEO here? Because you raised your hand. The click rates on those is very low, but imagine a flash briefing that's real and in the moment that actually addresses issues going on today that's part of your flash briefing when you get to work, right? And you can engage where you're comfortable in this routine, and we're seeing more and more of that every day. Here's just a couple scenarios that I use in my own life. This happens to be my phone. I just took this last night. But you can see the mobile integration as well as voice integration, so I can check on my devices at home. There's Alexa Home Guard that will allow you to have a security type of system while you're away. Here happens to be, for those that know about my fitness journey, you can go look for it. I was 50 pounds heavier 5 years ago. And one of the apps that I use is MyFitnessPal to track calories. This actually popped up the other day. I was going and logging calories, And it was, hey, did you know we actually have an Alexa skill? And you can go ahead and you can enable that. So I'm seeing this more and more from brands, is that where you engage, so whether I'm using your services on the web or on my mobile device or through Alexa, I have the ability to integrate all of these services. And then for those of you on Windows, Microsoft just updated this actually. It's now hands-free. So I have on my Windows 10 gaming laptop that I have at home, I can actually just say Alexa, and no matter where I am, inside Windows is actually Alexa, and it's all of my skills, all of my personalization, everything that I need right there. And so we're seeing more and more of that across experiences. We've created this system that I talked about last year called Blueprints that you can go to at blueprints.amazon.com that allow anybody, you don't need any type of technical background, to go ahead and teach Alexa things, to create routines of how do you take care of my parents, how do you take care of my kids, what is it like you know, for having a chore chart that I need to have for my kids for them to get things done. And what we've done over this past year is we've really looked at how do we make things easier across different types of devices, across different types of screens, and more engaging. And so one of the areas that we've looked at is something called the Alexa presentation language, and we just had an update to this, APL 1.1. And this is a little bit different than in mobile, right? In mobile, think about this for a second. Regardless of the screen size, you always know the dimensions. But in a voice-first world, so it's voice first, not voice only, you could have a screen of anything, right? The walls in here could be screens. The lights could be screens. I could have a tie tack, not that I wear ties anymore, that could have a screen on it. And so what does that mean? And how do we make that easier for people to create content? And more importantly, how do we do it in such a way that if you have a device without a screen, that there's intelligence there to understand that I can go ahead and I can just verbalize without you having to worry about it. Another area that we've seen and we've heard from customers is, I'll give you an example, the all recipes skill. I'm in the kitchen. I want to go ahead and cook something. I like the recipe, but you know, I like to print things out. I don't know, I'm just old school that way. How do I get to my printer? So this is another thing that we've actually launched called Alexa Skill Connections. So in all recipes, I can go ahead and have that print out on my HP printer. And in fact, it works with Canon and Epson. You'll see all sorts of different skills. And in fact, all of you can do this. It's simply a provider API, and then you have a requester API. And you have the ability to talk back and forth. And then another area we heard was, I want to go ahead and create a game, but I don't want to record every skill, every sound for every skill, right? I want to make Alexa more engaging. I want to make her fun. And so we've just increased, our sound bank now is over 2,500 different sounds. And it's funny, when I tweeted this out, one of the first things I heard back was, how do I use the bear sound, right? There's like bears in there, there's cats, there's dogs, there's all sorts of different things. And it's important to point this out because Alexa is a personality in and of herself, but that does not need to be your conversation with your customer. In fact, it can be a man, it can be a woman, it can be young, it can be old, it can be any type of language. We have all of these voices enabled now inside of Alexa. And the innovation has continued across the year. What you're seeing on the left in the light blue is releases that we've had for developers just since the beginning of the year. And we've launched across different locales, and in fact, we've done different languages within locales. So for example, in the US, you'll see up there, there's now a US Spanish locale that you have the ability to have both English and Spanish now inside your conversations. So what do conversations look like today in 2019? Well, the first thing I tell folks is it's about speed. If you're going to create a conversation with your customer and you already have good engagement on your mobile device, don't just create an Alexa skill because you can, right? You want to create something that's going to be faster to do. And what we're seeing commonly is different scenarios. So the first scenario that's not good for voice is browsing, a general type of query. So if I'm on a mobile device and maybe I want to go ahead and I want to just search for what type of shoes are on sale, I can ask for that, but then the follow-up question in that dialogue is, send me the top 3, right? And I get an email, or I get a text, or I get images of what those look like, or in fact, I can send that to an Alexa device. You have the ability to switch between all of these different modalities, but you're basing it on what is the fastest and how can you get to that information. We're also seeing searching. So when you know what you want, maybe it's ordering a specific pair of running shoes, or maybe it's ordering tickets. The ability to get to that information very, very quickly is fast with voice. And then what we're seeing is transactional entity types, right? And an entity can be something, it can be a function, it could be turn the volume up, or mute, things like that. Or it can be getting to a specific piece of information like weather. Will it rain today? What song, and I'm sorry this is all going to be in your head, but my kids have been playing Old Town Road this weekend before I left. It's getting to a specific piece of information or music, right? How many people here use music on Alexa and ask for like playlists from the 90s or the 2000s or 10 years ago, right? Yeah, very common. And I do that in my car now as well. It's getting to a specific piece of information. And then tasks, completing tasks. Smart homes, very, very popular with Alexa. The ability, this is something that I do. I actually have routines in my office, so I engage think mode, and then I have the ability to go ahead and turn off lights and set them to a different color. But how do we get to that next level? All of this is fine, but it's nothing I couldn't have done on mobile or web. It's just faster. But if I've been having a conversation like some of you, you've been having a conversation with Alexa for 5 years. What can I do for Alexa to better understand me? And part of that is thinking about different areas. So the first is context across turns. Now, in the past, as a creator of a skill, ask APIs so that we're keeping some state, but it needs to go further. It needs to understand the person and the preferences and things that happened over time. And it's multimodal, so whether it's happening on a mobile device or in my car or on my TV or on my computer even, it needs to understand that. So in a machine learning context, when you go ahead and you label different types of entities, if I know that I'm on a device that doesn't have any type of screen and I say the word play video, right? Video in that instance, you know that when you hear the word play on a device without a screen, it's probably going to be music. So even though I said video, I probably meant video not in the terms of an actual video stream, but something else. So it's understanding that device context, and it's also understanding what I own as far as content. As we start to see different mobile web and Alexa voice-driven skills, if I've bought something from your service through the mobile app, that should become part of the machine learning. Right? It needs to be part of understanding that I own that and what to display. And then, of course, personal context. What Dave chooses to listen to as music is going to be different than everybody else. And gender and age, too. You know, my father, who's older, I was taking him to the doctor's office, and the doctor came in, and he turned to me and said, "That doctor looks kind of young," right? And I was like, "Dad, he's older than me," right? But that's personal preference. And so when you create these type of interactions and these conversations, it doesn't have to be Alexa talking. You know, Jeopardy is Alex Trebek. And I've actually worked with brands that are creating skills now, and I love seeing this, is that when you start, it reminds me, I don't know if anybody ever played the old Ultima series games. When you played those, you had questions based on your personality. And from that, you created an avatar. So the conversation begins by having the personal preferences of that human being. Do I want to be talking to a man, a woman, someone younger, someone older? We've never been able to do that in technology, right? One interface for everyone. Maybe you could customize how the buttons looked and where things moved and how the tabs looked, but now I can choose who I have a conversation with. And we've also had innovation, talking back to the computers of old, we've had innovation in the ability to synthesize voice. So typically the way that this works, from a computer science perspective, is that when you record speech, you're doing it in a very neutral tone, right? And I have a tendency to get all excited and loud, and other people may be quieter. It's the same type of utterance, right? It's not any type of speed or anything like that. The cadence is the same. And then you have a lot of these, so you go ahead and you tag all of this, and that's pretty much been speech for a while. But now, and this is within the past 3 years, by the way, it's 2016, where we've seen this breakthrough inside using a neural net. And so it's the ability to actually generate speech, and you're starting to see this with Alexa. In fact, you see this across the entire industry. It's not just Amazon, but generated voices are now sounding more human-like than ever before. And through deep learning, active learning, and transfer learning, we've been able to go ahead and improve the accuracy of Alexa understanding by 20%. And so how do we get to that next level? Well, last year I talked and I showed you something like this, right? This is how Alexa and this is how other voice assistants are going to break out speech, and they're going to look for intents, and you're going to go ahead and train them through utterances. And so we're in this world of single-turn, simple instructions, right? Get me the weather, turn off the lights. And all of you have created some amazing experiences where some of these games have, thousands of utterances. And so we're in this multi-turn, complex conversation. But what we really want to get to is back to the human being, which is multi-session, which is ambiguous, right? Even as human beings from one to another, we don't always understand what we're trying to tell each other. And so machines need to be able to reason. And this is where deep learning comes into play. And so what can Amazon do to better enable this? So the first, if I said, Alexa, play Old Town Road on a device, we have what's called an entity action knowledge graph. And what this is doing is it's understanding my personal preferences. So if I ask to play that, and it knows I have Amazon Music, it's going to go ahead and play that. But I also have other providers. And so those providers are registered. So you don't even have to worry about this, is that if I have something like Spotify or Apple Music, it's just going to go ahead and play. Now, how can we take that and we can move across all sorts of experiences and interactions? How can we anticipate customers' latent goals? And so one of the areas that we looked at are different scenarios. So the first scenario might be we're all going to go out to eat later. And in that scenario, typically what we would have today with any type of cross-skill interaction is that we know we want to get tickets. So it's get tickets, and then we go to a movie ticket scale. So book me a movie ticket. But what if we could be proactive about this? What if Alexa could understand scenarios? Scenarios that are driven by all of you. This is just one example I'm using of a night out. And Alexa could go ahead and understand through all of these different 90,000 plus skills how I book a restaurant, and how I get a car, and how I book a movie. In fact, we're looking at recurrent neural networks, and we're seeing an improvement here that you can see 3 times less code and 10 times less annotated data points. So what's happening here is in the past, to create all of these multi-dialogue, truly what feels like conversational experiences with people required a lot of manual labeling, a lot of manual effort. And you're seeing this happen automatically now. Let me show you how this flows. So I go ahead and I have a conversation. As a developer, I'm creating all of these different inputs, but now I can simulate the dialogues and I can learn from them. And it continues to have this loop back and across live data. So that now, once my skill is out there, it's learning about you. It's learning about how you're actually using this. Versus all of you, and I know a lot of you had created an Alexa skill, when you go in your dashboard and you actually see what are the accuracy levels of your intents, now you can be doing that through deep learning. We're calling this Alexa Conversations. Less effort, less code, less training data. And we feel like this will be a way for you all to code less, to worry about all of that, all of those utterances and intents that you've built, and to actually use deep learning and Alexa to fulfill customer scenarios. Now, one of the other things that we looked at too was, wow, games seem to be a pretty popular category in skills. What can we do to make that easier? And when we talked with partners, one of the biggest things about creating a game is the story. And how do you take creative people who write stories, and then how do you go ahead and interact with the developers so that you're not stymieing that creative process, that artists are free to create, and developers can bring that all together. So I want to announce here today, for all of you, Skillflow Builder. Skillflow Builder, thank you. Skillflow Builder is a new tool, thank you, for creating interactive stories. My favorite category, things like role-playing games, right? How do you create those experiences and how to make that easier? Now, instead of me talking about this and telling you how cool it is, I thought I would go ahead and share the stage with some amazing folks who are already creating experiences with these tools.
The sun casts long shadows over the dusty town. Across the dirt road you see the sign, "Welcome to Strangerville." Strange indeed.
I think that was the mic. Hey everybody, Dana and I work on a life simulation game. It's called The Sims. We are very excited to share some of our recent experiences working on the Skillflow Builder. So earlier this year, we had the exciting opportunity to be on the Alexa ecosystem with our first skill. With the second one that we're about to announce, it's called The Sims Stories. We want to bring stories that are engaging and interactive in the Sims universe. So a quick backdrop about this story. You as a player find yourself in a small town called Strangerville. Strangerville holds a deep, dark secret. In Strangerville, you're navigating through dangerous plants, collecting odd collectibles, and noticing changing weather patterns, quite like the city we are in right now. So to make matters worse and mysterious, what you run into is a lot of odd residents in this town. Once you are going through this gameplay, you see a large military presence and a completely unexpected villain. So with this backdrop and with the vision of what we want to create this as a story, which ideally I want you all to play in Alexa Auto, by the way, inside the car, we want to discuss what we did with Skillflow Builder. So Skillflow Builder is this amazing tool that we got our hands on very recently and were able to quickly prototype a 30-minute interactive narrative. The team was very excited because it needed barely any engineering input, and we were able to play with the story right within the tool itself. So voice design is a very humbling challenge, actually. So we believe as game developers, we should be able to translate to any platform. We are so wrong. We think we know how to make games, but we put it in front of the customers. They give us tremendous and valuable feedback.
That's right.
What makes Skillflow Builder exciting is that you take this input and you're able to immediately implement this. Dana, who's been an amazing designer on this product, is able to take feedback, and within 15 minutes, you're able to incorporate that feedback into the story that you can play right within the tool, as well as export it to a device itself. Another thing that was quite interesting to me as a developer was that every time as simulation developers, we have to create a feature or a story, our first thought goes towards building tools themselves. We pride ourselves in creating exciting tools on top of which you can write the content. We actually had a long technical plan to build a tool very similar to this. And what's funny is that Alexa beat us to the punch. And as soon as we saw their software, we said there is no point making what we were about to make, and let's just use this to do what we want to do for the customers anyways, which is create this story. And the final thing I do want to say is that I cannot stress enough how exciting it is to try different hypotheses. Dana and I would randomly talk about, do we have too many characters? Is this character talking too much? We would immediately take our story, just branch it, try a different hypothesis, try it in the tool, and pick the version that we like the most.
Yeah, so those prototypes were super quick to create, which was really awesome. So before we had access to Skillflow Builder, we had basically a mess of design documents. We had this crazy flow chart for how the story was going to work. We had a separate Excel document with the script, and we had the audio files we wanted to play, all the logic. And it was really challenging to figure out how to play test this without investing a significant amount of engineering time. But then we got our hands on Skillflow Builder. It had this great guided editor that someone like me, I don't have an engineering background, and I was able to get the first pass of our story in about a week or so. And it was just very easy to plug in every scene of the game. And then it also contains a simulator, so you can play it immediately. You don't have to wait for a build or anything like that. And as Manu was saying, I was making changes and putting them in front of people within 15 minutes.
Strangerville is a lovely town. I hope you enjoy your time here. Just stay away from the secret lab in the crater.
Yeah, so we're really excited about the Sims stories, and Skillflow Builder made the mystery of Strangerville possible. So thank you.
Hello, can you guys hear me? Is it working? Okay, good. So we are Doppio. Me and Chris are here with you. We're very excited to be in the space. Like, we felt very lonely at times working with voice, but it's always kind of great to come out and see everybody else worrying about the same stuff. So what do we do? Like, we are a game studio that makes voice-first games. What that means, like, really want to. I mean, I've been making games for 20 years. The last 15 were basically mobile games, and that's kind of like been the most exciting development, I think, in the past 10 years. Just the fact that games, the fact that touchscreens came out and they really made games super popular because of the accessibility and the portability of the devices and stuff. And I think voice has the ability to take that up a notch. So, you know, from all the things we're doing, like, this is what, when we wanted to start our own company, this is the one thing that we got super excited around. Yep, so we put together like our heads and trying to figure out, well, you know, what kind of games we can make with this, and we came up with the Vortex. I don't know how many of you tried it. It's an interactive story game that has conversational elements, and we learn a lot. You know, like, you know, as with your first kid, when you have it, you don't really know what you're doing, so you drop him a couple of times. You need to go to therapy later, but we're pretty happy with the way it turned out. And I think the other good data point we had is, you know, we got some good results, and based on that, we were able to raise a funding round, which we just announced, which has, you know, folks of the Alexa Fund, but also the Season Fund joining, so we can actually go and build more stuff. So to talk about how we build things.
Yeah, so yeah, we've been working with the Skillflow Builder team for a while. Like Jefferson just said, we started with the Vortex. We did everything manually, but you know, we're making games. We're looking to find the fun as quickly as possible. I think our friends at EA said a similar thing, where, you know, getting builds in front of actual players as quickly as possible, as often as possible, really helps with the development process. And Skillflow Builder is a great tool for that, because you can really just put stuff together quickly, run it immediately, and get that really critical feedback early on in the process. And it's great for, you know, non-engineers. It's also great for engineers like me. So there's a great tool set that runs right inside of the Visual Studio Code Editor you might already be using to do coding. It lets you view the whole format, click through, you know, see everything that you would need to see there as an engineer at that level. It's also fully extensible with, you know, TypeScript, so we can do all kinds of cool engineering-y things to extend the format. But the critical thing is we can just get stuff running, you know, hit simulate, and boom, it's running, and we can get a player to just sit down and play it and get that feedback and iterate as quickly as possible. Now, you know, with the Vortex, one of the biggest challenges we had was it's a massive story-driven game, lots of ranches, over 45,000 words in the game. Getting all that in from our, you know, awesome game writer that we were working with, and getting that into the game was a huge ordeal. So with Skillful Builder, one of the main things we're excited about is that we can put a writer who's completely not, you know, using Git or command line or any other crazy stuff, let that person write and get that stuff into an executable format super quickly. And the editor, the visual editor is a great tool for that. It lets you view the whole story graph, click through on each node, add things in, view the whole format. And we found, again, it's been a couple of months we've been working with folks on this. It really just is awesome, and it's saved us a massive amount of time, I think, already in the stuff that we're doing already. And I think we can talk about a little bit of that now.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
All right.
Maybe. Assuming the problem is me.
Yes. That's the vortex. Thank you.
Yeah. Is it kind of? Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if it's mine actually, but yeah. I'm gonna blame it on someone else with their microphone. That sounds like it's yeah. That's right. Hello. So I guess we're doing this. Yes. So as Chris was saying, we were working on our next game. Like we actually been using the earlier versions of the Skillflow Builder to prototype. So we actually been building a lot of things in it. But we're actually now working on production code, so we're getting ready to launch our new game in October. I can't talk too much about it, unfortunately. Did I just say October? I meant fall. That's why I'm not supposed to be talking about it, but it may or may not have a TV show involved. Like we'll be able to confirm that later if you guys follow us on our mailing list or whatever social medias. We'll be there. But anyway, so. Yes, we're the last one, so we'll let you guys go out and enjoy the show. We really appreciate you being here, and thank you.
Go ahead and bring me up. Okay. No, don't go out. We got more talks for you. So, this next speaker, I'm really fortunate that I get to meet you all, and I get to meet some really special people. Our next keynote speaker, he's changed the world in multiple ways. One of the first things he went out and did was he co-founded a company called Siri, which sold to Apple and became Siri. He then went on to co-found Change.org. How many of us have done a Change.org donation or signed up for a Change.org? He co-founded that, changed the world. Then he went and started Viv Labs, which then sold to Samsung and is now the engine behind Samsung Bixby. He is also a magician. And he shared a great story with me that he trained his niece, who is going to be on Penn & Teller's full Penn & Teller pretty soon. So this guy changes the world. I want to bring up and give a huge round of applause for Adam Chire with Samsung. Thank you, Adam. Come on up.
Hello. Welcome. So I'm here today to tell you about Samsung's Bixby, really the newest conversational assistant kid on the block. I think this assistant brings a lot of new ideas about what the experience should be like for end users, about what the experience should be like for developers, and I think it brings a lot of new opportunities with the new Samsung Bixby Marketplace. So let's take a step back. I've been in this game for a long, long time. My first conversational assistant was in 1993 before I saw a web browser. And with this perspective of longevity, I realized that every 10 years, the way people interact with computers changes. So if you go back to the mid-'80s, boom, a PC dropped on everyone's desk, and everyone had to learn about Windows and a mouse. Just about 10 years later, you know what's coming, a web browser emerged, and now we had to know what URL and HTTP stood for, and bookmarks, etc. 10 years later, almost like clockwork, the app and the mobile revolution took off. So it was all about pinch and zoom and downloading. And I don't know if anyone's been counting, but last year was the 10th anniversary of the App Store. So that means the time is now for a new paradigm as important as the web and mobile. And of course, I think most people in this room would say, we think that paradigm will be the conversational assistant. Now, I know a lot of you are thinking, oh man, is it time to learn a whole new paradigm? You know, why do I need a new paradigm? I'm pretty happy with what I've got, right? I get a lot done with web browsers and smartphones. Well, new paradigms bring computing to new context. So if you think about it, in the desktop revolution, all the computing you could do had to reside on that computer on the desk. When you moved to the internet, now you could use computing on computers around the world. And when mobile came out, you could now do computing instead of sitting at your desk. You could do it from a park bench or walking down the street like this, clicking and bumping into people. And so the voice assistant also takes us into new contexts. Contexts where a smartphone and a web browser are not appropriate. So there are many. I'll give you a few. So maybe you're jogging with your smartwatch. Hard to do with a web browser. Maybe you're driving in your car. I hope you're not using an app or even that giant Tesla screen to be dealing with web browsers and apps during that time. Maybe you're in your home dealing with your family and cooking a meal or washing dishes or just being around them. In all of these moments, having a web browser or a smartphone are not conducive to good behavior, to good experience. But a conversational assistant that can understand you, that knows your preferences, and that can help you get tasks done, those are appropriate. And those are some of the reasons about why an assistant will be important as a new paradigm. And I'm a founder, so I tend to talk about big proclamations, but I believe if done right, the conversational assistant will be more important than the web and mobile. And people go, what? That's crazy. But think about it, a lot of what we do are tasks. And if you were had the biggest screen and the fastest keyboard, and you were trying to plan a trip to your sister's wedding next month, you'd have to go to site after site to figure out how do you get there, where do you stay, what do you do, what do I bring as a gift? Too complicated to be entering in information over and over again, but an assistant over time can start to smooth out all of those transactions for you. So with that, the question is, why aren't assistants important today at the scale of the web browser or mobile, a paradigm? And I'm the first to say they're not. Billions of requests are flowing through assistants today. We should be proud of that. But if I were to say, I'm going to take away your web browser for a week, you're not allowed to use your smartphone for a week, you'd be like, I can't live my life. If I'm going to say you cannot use a conversational assistant for a week, you'd be like, all right, that's inconvenient. We're not at that level. And the question is, why not? What will it take to get there? What do we need to elevate from a utility, which is where we are today, to a paradigm? And so we've defined 4 criteria that all of us in this room should be striving towards to achieve importance at a paradigm scale. So number 1 assistant. As an end user, I do not want 80,000 different assistants. Conceptually, of course I want 80,000 different things by different brands, by different companies with lots of knowledge, but that's too much for my little head to keep track of. If I have to say, ask app 7 to do command 5, and every single experience is kind of fragmented and works in a different way and really feels different, it's too much. Conceptually, we need to get to a point where, like a browser, like a smartphone, there are concepts that people know how to use and expect, and you have a consistent experience, even though websites or apps are created by millions of developers, we need that kind of experience within an assistant. The second is we want this assistant experience to be available across every device. That means it should be cloud-based in the form where it's not embedded in a device. A device is a context through which I talk to this assistant. Again, I don't want to have to say, oh, what does the car assistant know about me as opposed to the refrigerator assistant? It's too much work. I want one assistant and a device as a context. It's important because if I say to Bixby, for instance, through my TV, what's going on tonight, maybe an appropriate response is, oh, here's a good show to watch. And if I say it on a phone or a speaker, oh, there's this concert going on down the street. So there is context, but it should be one assistant across every device. The third point is we need to make this powered by every service. Today, if you look at analytics, most of the traffic is going to the built-in services that come out of the box with the major assistants, right? And very little traffic is going to the ecosystem of third-party services. We have to flip that game. And if I were to say when we talk about Bixby later, what's the one thing that Bixby is trying to do more than any other assistant? It's that it's about the developer services. I say down the hallways of Samsung, we are not trying to build the world's best assistant. We are enabling the world to build the best assistant. So we're going to talk about that, but one of the examples is level playing field. With our Bixby system, we're going to give you the exact same tools, the exact same platform to every developer. That is not the case in most of the other assistants on the market. So you need to be able to have full, complete capabilities to develop services that can compete against each other and any service that Samsung provides. And finally, personalized just for you. What is more important than a personal assistant than personalization? Today, assistants out of the box are pretty much the same for every single user. But think about the mobile experience. In mobile, your surface area is defined by the apps that you download, and it's quite different from user to user. There's only maybe 10% overlap. We all use email and a browser, but the apps you use define your experience and the surface area, and we're aspiring to head that way so that every assistant can have their own definition about what are the things you want to do, what are the brands that you know and trust. So with this in mind, we've worked for a number of years, first at Viv Labs, which will now power the technology, to create a new platform and tool set, an ecosystem to power a scalable marketplace, a scalable experience for developers. And so we'll tell you a little bit about Bixby. So Bixby is a conversational assistant. It's available today on many phones and TVs and refrigerators from Samsung, and coming out on far more than that. Across this is a little bit of the experience. So you can just ask, what do you want to do? What are the top events here in Los Angeles tonight? The next thing is you get beautiful results. So we are voice first, but we can leverage a screen at a level that most other assistants don't do. We have very rich components and experiences. One of the things is you get curated lists. So we don't want to return 100 results. An assistant, and it's hard to see here, but should say, based on your preferences, I think this is the event for you. Here's the most popular, here's trending now. We want to smooth out the flow to getting a task done. And then finally, accelerated task completion. So in this events and Ticketmaster example, you can complete a transaction end-to-end through voice, all the way through to buying the ticket, choosing your seat. We have integration with Samsung Payment Service. So if you receive credit cards, we lower the friction to getting this done for any of your services. And I'm going to give you a quick demonstration of the Bixby experience today.
Welcome to the new Bixby. Bixby is an assistant that can help you get things done based upon services. These services are extendable and configurable using a marketplace. Let's look up some information using Bixby. Will it be warmer than 60 degrees near the Golden Gate Bridge the day after tomorrow? Great, I've got some great weather information. Find me a pasta recipe with shrimp and asparagus for 4 people. And I can see my recipe, the ingredients here, and preparation steps. That looks great. Bixby can also be used to accomplish tasks such as making reservations, buying tickets, booking a ride, and more. Find a French restaurant in San Francisco. And Bixby has highlighted certain picks based upon what is learned about my preferences. If you want to see more results, you can simply scroll down. But you know, instead of French, I feel like Italian. Make a reservation for 2 people at an Italian restaurant instead. And I can see several Italian restaurants. Siena Bistro. That sounds good. Reserve this one. And I go ahead and make that reservation, but I also need an Uber there. Get an Uber to Siena Bistro. And I can see I can get an Uber to Siena Bistro as well.
So there's more, but you get the basic idea. What you're seeing is not any of the particular functionality, but a very rich, consistent experience that's conversational, that's multimodal, meaning you can talk to answer any question, you can click at any time, and that's maintaining the conversational state all the way through. And whatever service or content you have as a developer, you can leverage all of that and build experiences like that today. So what's the attraction for developers? One, obviously, is Samsung has the most devices of any manufacturer out on the market, with a deploy base of over 1 billion devices. Something like 500 million new devices are shipped every year. And Samsung has committed by 2020 that all of the devices they ship will be connected, and they're putting their weight behind Bixby as their intelligent interface platform. As you'll see, when you build for Bixby, you'll build one capsule. We call them capsules instead of skills or actions. And that capsule will work across devices, and you can localize it, that same capsule, across languages and markets. So let's talk a little bit about the technology for developers behind Bixby. And this is radically different. This is completely different than any other technology stack or tool set you'll find on the marketplace. Last November, we launched something called Bixby Developer Studio. It's a full-featured downloadable IDE, and it's based on a completely different principle of software development. So just quickly, if you think about it, for decades, the relationship between a human developer and a machine went like this. I'm the human, here's the code, you run the code. I'm going to tell you what to do. Then along came neural nets and deep learning, very different behavior. A developer would say, here are examples. If I give you this input, I want that output. And it's the AI that came up with the code, the logic, to generate that function. But humans couldn't even understand it, right? It was just a mess of neural networks filled with numbers connected to each other. So what Bixby Developer Studio puts out is a completely new paradigm for programming, where a human and an AI sit side by side to build every use case handled by your assistants. And we do that using what we call dynamic program generation. So the way it works is, as a developer, you will specify the objects and the functions or APIs that you have in the world at a micro level, right? Micro meaning it's not weather at Boston. You don't do weather at a city. You'll say, I'm a weather object and I take a lat long. And that way, if I said, what's the weather at my sister's house? What's the weather at the Super Bowl? What's the weather in Kentucky? The weather program doesn't have to have access to the contacts of my sister or look up Super Bowl information. It's just taking a lat long. And Bixby's AI will write a program that sequences calls to many different services required to get your job done. You can now experience this in full going to bixby.developer.samsung.com. I'll pause so you can write that down or take pictures. You'll be able to download what I'm going to show you now. So first, when you get there, you'll arrive at the Bixby Developer Center. That's where you get our IDE, available for Windows, Mac, and this is an old slide now for Linux. You can join the community, read all of our great documentation, sample capsules, videos. This is what the Bixby Developer Studio looks like. So it's a full-fledged IDE that you run. And now I'm going to give you a very quick walkthrough just to give you the idea of what it's like to interact. So you build using capsules. And the capsule we're going to load is called Space Resorts. It's one of our samples that you can download. So if you can't see it, go download it and see it later. In Space Resorts, you build the objects. So for instance, a space resort, kind of like a futuristic hotel, is a structure with many properties. It's got a name, it's the planet that it's on, it's got attributes or amenities. And you could have an action like finding space resorts by what planet they're on or different search criteria. So that, and we have different types of actions. So search actions have no side effects, but we have full transactional support. There's many types of actions you can define in this way. You then hook up a little bit of code that could be a wrapper to call your web service or to access your data behind that definition. And now here's where the magic happens. Once you've defined your objects and your actions in the world, you're now ready to build a use case with Bixby's AI. So here I'm typing in a request. Make a reservation for 2 people at a space resort on Mars with an oxygen bar. Of course, that's what you'd want to do for a space resort. And what you do to write this use case is I say the goal is that I want to actually get, basically, I want a reservation, an order to be created. So you say, what's the end state? And then I tag the inputs. Mars is a planet, and oxygen bar is a search criteria. These are the types that you've defined in your model. 2 people, that's the number of astronauts I need to bring along with me. And as soon as you hit save, what Bixby does is instantly writes a program, a dynamically generated program, that will involve all of the calls, take all of the APIs and objects you've defined, and all of the user interactions. So if you need to prompt the user or get some response and then learn from those interactions, that's done automatically. That's it. You hit compile, you bring up, you'll have to do some more training examples, of course, but the code gets generated for each. Here I bring up a simulator. I say, get me a reservation for 3 people at a resort on Jupiter with orbital zip lining. Of course. It says, which space resort would you like? I'm looking at Europa's Jewel. I can scroll through the rich set of components that I have. I now decide to book it. We have a rich date picker. Now I can always use GUI, or I can use language at any point of time in the experience. I'll say the weekend of Christmas 2027. There must be space resorts on Jupiter by then. Now it's asking which room would you like, honeymoon or the lab. And every time Bixby asks a question, the user will know that it will learn from those. So if I go with 2 people, I want the fancy romantic suite, etc. Here is the actual debugger where you can see all of the code that was generated by Bixby. You can step through it, see what dialogues are created, and you can refine those dialogues, refine the layouts, etc. So it's a very different process where you're writing some of the code and Bixby's AI is writing some of the code. So please go to bixbydevelopers.com or the other URL, which is longer and harder to remember, and download this and give it a try. So with that, I'm going to close about announcing that The tools have been available since November, but we have just launched the Bixby Marketplace. So now any developer here for any service that you want can create a new capsule in the manner that I showed, deploy it to the marketplace, and start to have your services discovered and accessed by the huge numbers of users available on Samsung devices. One point, we are new, and that is an opportunity. There are not 100,000 capsules ahead of you in line. It is a new and blossoming marketplace. And so this is an opportunity to get in early on the ground floor. And as new users are rolling out, Bixby's coming to new users every day, they're going to want to see what's good, what's cool. This is an opportunity for you to get there and sell your services. Many people ask, what's the marketplace like and how does discovery work? I'm going to give you a quick demonstration of that, and then I'll close.
Let's take a look at how the new Bixby Marketplace works. To launch the marketplace, open Bixby and swipe right. And here you can see the marketplace. You can scroll down and you can see there's trending capsules, staff picks, and then a list of popular categories. Well, let's view all of the categories. And you know, I am interested in rideshare, so let's see what's under travel and transportation. Oh, that's amazing. Both Lyft and Uber are available. So let me go to Lyft, and I'm going to add that to Bixby. And then let me go to Uber, and I'm going to add that to Bixby. And now I've added both Uber and Lyft to Bixby. Okay, now I need a ride to the airport. Let's try. Hi, Bixby. I need a ride to the airport.
Which service do you want to use?
And because I enabled both Lyft and Uber, Bixby is asking me which one I want to use. For today, let's use Uber. Uber.
An UberX car to San Francisco at the airport. San Francisco will be about $48. The closest driver is 2 minutes away. Ready to book your ride?
So now I can book my ride on Uber. Now, as you notice, Bixby asked me, do I want to use Uber or Lyft? Let's say I have a preferred ride-sharing company. How do I set that? Let's go see. So go back to here, and I go into my Bixby settings, and I go down to preferred capsules. And as you can see at rideshare at the bottom, it says always ask, but I could set it to Uber, or I could set it to Lyft. Now that I've set it to Lyft, let's try that again. Hi, Bixby. I need a ride to the airport.
Where would you like to get dropped off?
And you can see it automatically launched Lyft. So I made Lyft my default rideshare application. But if I want to take an Uber, I just ask for it. Get me an Uber to the airport. And voila, you can see Uber comes up and I can book my Uber ride.
So that gives you an idea how we're approaching the marketplace. It's extensible across many categories. It's integrated right into the flow. If you say, get me a ride to the airport, and it says you don't have any rideshare providers, it will show you options from the marketplace. User choice is king, so they get to set preferred, or they can just leave it open if they have multiple, and it'll ask every time. So that's an introduction to the newly launched Bixby Marketplace. So with that, I hopefully brought some new ideas with the new Bixby to you. Please come to our Bixby booth. We'll be available to answer any questions you have. I think there's some amazing ideas to learn from on the future of voice. And I think huge opportunity for you all to create voice experiences for Bixby. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Adam. Thanks for all you do for the voice community. So how about that? So Amazon has announced Alexa Flows, right? Alexa Skill Flow Builder. Thank you. Skill Flow Builder. So definitely check that out. And then Samsung just announced the Capsule Marketplace, the Bixby Marketplace. So definitely check that out as well. Also, I've watched both these platforms in action to watch how quickly they're evolving for us and the work that we do is just, it's astounding. I want to do a little recognition here. We have some very special guests with us this morning. And I don't know if any of you have ever clapped with a deaf audience, but does anyone know how that happens? Right? All right, I want everybody to try that right now. Ready? Everybody. All right. I would like the Bruce Street School students to please stand up right here. This is the School for the Deaf in Newark. Let's give it up for the Bruce Street School. Everybody. Thank you so much, and thank you for being here. You have a voice at this conference, and thank you for being here. And with that, I have another special announcement about this conference and how we're going to close it out. Our closing keynote, we've been working on this for a while, but we have made a decision about our closing keynote that I'm really excited about. Thomas Chappell is a developer. He also was born deaf, and he is a very well-accomplished developer, and he is developing tools and products for Prudential Financial here in Newark. And Thomas is going to be our closing keynote speaker. Let's give it up for Thomas. And now let's do a round of applause. I'm really excited about that because I think that this industry is about giving voice to all of us. And I think Thomas is going to have a message that is important to everybody. So if you're still around on Thursday, please come and check out the closing keynote. I think it'll be unlike any other closing keynote at a tech conference, and especially at a conference called Voice. So with that, we're going to bring up our next keynote speaker. She's somebody I've known for a long time, as well as our other keynotes. I'm so lucky, I said again, to basically get to meet so many interesting and fun people. She's on the road so much. She's also a mother of 4. She just does it all. I can't believe it. Bring up, please, Noelle Lacharite from Microsoft. Let's give it up for Noelle.
Holy mama, it is cool to see all of you people. I think I was like in some small room the last time I was here. So it's cool to be part of this event in such an important way. I know some of you, we've got a really great voice family that's been growing over the past few years. And so hopefully you won't be like, oh, I heard that one already. But maybe you will. We'll see how it goes. Am I clicking correct? Oh, there we go. Don't click too fast. This is me, and more importantly, I don't have much time to spend with you, but I am always very, very mindful of the fact that I am not here by myself. This is my gaggle of people. I have 4 kiddos, just like my wonderful introduction mentioned. Thank you. And you know, we live on a farm. We have alpacas. If you don't have one, you should think about it. They're awesome. They're fluffy until they're shaved, and then they look a little alienish. So be prepared for that. But we have a great life. We have no internet on our farm, right? No internet, no cell service. It's an amazing experience that I have the benefit of giving my kids. However, thankfully there's satellite. So we buy satellite internet, and I will tell you why. The other person in there that is not my child, of course my husband. Please pray he's actually physically watching my children right now. But that's my husband. He's amazing. He holds down the farm as well as my kiddos. And my dad. My dad raised me well on Bradbury and Asimov, the golden age of science fiction. Incredible work that I didn't know then was actually feeding my mind with ideas that I would eventually get to build. Who knew? He knew exactly what he was doing. My very first book from that man was a Time Life book series. Oh my gosh, does that say how old I am? Anyway, a Time Life book series on bits and bytes and Pascal. And I loved it. I won't tell you how old I was when I got it, but it was amazing. As a result, though, he now lives with me. And the reason he lives with me is he was walking across the street one day. He's a Marine, tough guy, walking across the street, ran 11 miles a day at that time. And it's Seattle. Anyone walked across the street in Seattle? It's like dangerous stuff, right? So he got hit by a car very traumatically. I don't recommend anyone ever having to go through that experience, certainly not having to make decisions in that experience. But he came out of it just a little bit different. He couldn't use a phone and he couldn't use a computer. And he was all of those things before that accident. And he's 70, right? It's like the new 40. So he's got a long way to go. How is he not going to use technology? That was in 2014. Anyone know what else got kind of cool in 2014? Alexa. So I joined the Alexa team with that knowledge, knowing that I could do something. I could change the life of my dad. We put him in an assisted living facility, which is a sad place sometimes, if you know anything about it. A place all of us should spend more time, whether we know anyone or not. But a place that I introduced Alexa, and my dad's room became the hub. Everyone would go just to turn the lights on and off. Everyone. Like, they could play radio stations that they hadn't played since they were teenagers, and they knew the code, like WKPR in New York City, right? Like, right off the top of their heads. And they could use their voice. They didn't have to type anything in. They didn't have to get on a computer. It changed my life. I said, this is where I want to be. Well, it also turned out a few years before that, I had my first son. That's Max up in the corner. He has Down syndrome, another really incredible, brilliant group of people that are capable and want to play in this world. And not so great at the keyboard or the mouse, but incredibly good in his case with his voice. Alexa opened the door for him. And so I was like, oh my God, how do I make this better? I built a bunch of skills, fact skills, mindfulness skills, kindness skills, but I wanted to do more. And that's what I'm here to share with you today is, yes, build skills. But it turns out that my son now likes playing video games a lot. I won't even tell you the ones he likes to play. You probably could guess, but he likes to play them a lot. What could we do to show up with voice wherever people are, wherever they are, to be able to create an environment that allows people accessibility to software that we use every day, right? Many of us in here are like the 1% of the 1%. And if you have a heart to be a developer or know a developer or have a 5-year-old that you can make a developer, we should think about how can we change the world with this technology. So a couple things. Of course, I run Lady Coders, which you saw in there. You'll see this deck. I also founded the AI Leadership Institute, really around how do we bring just more responsibility to this world of AI that we're in. A lot of us are enamored with the idea of voice, and we don't necessarily understand the impact of the models that we're building to people that don't look exactly like us, right? Our experience, that's just the way it is, happens to be a reflection of our lens. What happens when someone from a different experience tries to use our software? Oh, it's a bad experience. But I don't know that as a dev because I never asked them. So I'm a big passionate fan of asking more questions, of creating a more diverse environment, and leveraging technology that enables you to do this. Now, this is the first video that it actually came out the day that I started at Microsoft. And so I want to share it with you just to give you a sense of, well, a little bit of the feeling maybe that I had. Maybe. Joe. Totally fine. It's fine. We're going to try it one more time. Oh, gosh. I double-clicked. Okay. Okay. Should I click it again? I'm afraid. Everyone think good thoughts. I think you in the back, sir. Yes. Good thoughts. Thank you. Oh. Someone's doing magic. Are you doing magic? All right. I give up. So this face is awesome. Go look him up. But his name is Common. He built a whole series. And what he did was he created this 1-minute video. And what was interesting and why I wanted to share it with you, actually some of you in this audience may have seen it already, it wasn't just given to devs. It wasn't just shown at developer conferences. It was shown on public television. It was shown on NBC. It was shown during the Super Bowl. It was shown to my dad. AI is possible. He was like, wait, what, AI? He didn't even think of Alexa as AI at that time. So what we're doing at Microsoft is trying to increase your availability of technology in this space we call natural language or natural interfaces. So what I want to do very quickly is just talk to you a little bit about what this means. Like me, watching my son struggle to get engaged with anything, I had hope when I saw this technology. I hope you will feel the same, that we'll no longer build a skill that just does a thing, that we will interact, engage, and communicate across technologies, that we will build a bot that actually survives, not just an experience. You know what I always dream about? I would love to have a conversation in my kitchen and then move to my car and continue the conversation, no context resetting necessary, and then go to work and continue that conversation, enrich that conversation, and then all the way back home again. And that customer, maybe it's Prudential, knows who I am on all of those devices. Because guess what? As a customer, I actually don't care what device I'm talking to. I don't even want to know that I care, right? And it's our job as developers, those of us in the room that are developers, it's our job to build those experiences. And the good news is, the hope, is that that tech exists right now, right now. The tech is not the problem. The challenge is in developers like us actually using it. So another, what I always like to kind of end with in this little anecdotal part and then go into the specific technology is this idea, right, that we have more power than ever, right? We have more technology at our fingertips than generations have had before us, all put together. It's incredible. However, maybe you can help me with this one. With great power comes, for like a tech crowd, I'm like, really? Oh, it's fine, it's okay. But yes, middle people, thank you, my family. With great power comes great responsibility. We have to think more deeply about what we're doing. It's not just a cool, fun thing we're doing anymore. It affects millions, now hundreds of millions of people when we decide to put an experience on a device. So what I'm hoping to do is just share with you, one, Microsoft is thinking differently about voice. Anyone heard of the thing Cortana? Anyone? No, not dead, right, not dead. Oftentimes people ask me if it's dead, like to my face. I own the project. So no, but it is being rebranded. It is being reimagined. And if you saw some of the videos that came out of our recent developer conference, you would see a space that Microsoft's always been really good at is productivity. I use Cortana every day to schedule my meetings, but now with my voice, I use text. I copy Cortana, I say, hey Cortana, can you set up a meeting? And it's done. I've actually done it for several people in this room because I'll be meeting with them this week. It's a future that is not, right, it's multimodal. It includes all modalities, and we want to make sure we show up for our user exactly where they want to be. Sometimes I want to use my voice, and sometimes I don't. So you'll see this voice-driven activity show up across your productivity tools, especially if you're using Microsoft tooling. Now, quickly, I want to run through this concept of models, right? So I don't know how many of you are familiar with machine learning or the natural language models that empower voice technology, but many of them sit as pre-built AI. In other words, they're models that are already created. You just call a web service and you get to use them. This is typically Microsoft or a vendor of your choice, right? It is their models trained on their data, not an inexpensive thing to do, especially in the age of GDPR. It's actually extremely expensive to collect data. Any of you, if you have this phone, no, I'm not gonna take a selfie. I want to, but I'm not gonna. If you have a phone like this, an iPhone something, 8 or above, it uses facial recognition. Any of you done the facial recognition thing? Right? It's not like you hold it up and say cheese and you're done. It's this radial movement where you have to hit all the things. Like it's not trivial. But I say that because gathering that data is hard and expensive. Anyone know? I don't know if you know this, but we failed as a society miserably in our first iterations of that facial recognition model. We are now super fast trying to fix that. but it's very difficult because the data is hard to get. But Microsoft and other companies like Microsoft are investing heavily in building this. Now, the other side of the fence, right? So those pre-built AI models are awesome. They're web services. However, they are bound by a very specific set of functions. You can call a function, and if the function's not there, you can't use it. So the other side is, well, if it's not pre-built, then I have to build it all myself. The good news is you own that model, yay, but you're building a natural language model from scratch. We've probably done this before. There's at least 3 companies who have done it pretty well because they were on the stage, right? But the good news is if you build your own NLU, you get to own that model, you own the privacy, you own all of that good stuff that comes with it, and you own the data. The expensive to get, hard to get, takes decades to get right data. So you have 2 options. Use a rather limited pre-built model or build it yourself. Well, our CEO, Satya Nadella, was like, he's an engineering CEO. It's actually the first engineering CEO I've ever worked for, and it makes a difference. He was like, oh, wait a second. What we should do is extend our models, call it customizable AI, and add to it, right, the ability for you to start where Microsoft left off. And this is a differentiator. Not many companies think this is a good idea, that we'd hand you our model and be like, yeah, sure, start there, and then let you train it on your custom data. So imagine, if you will, this is a very near and dear project to my heart. You are a startup and you are interested in improving delayed speech individuals and helping them build better speech. If you know a little bit about this space, the #1 thing we struggle with is as soon as a kid or child tries to speak to a device, it fails right away because the NLU can't understand them. What if you could create a game that would manually, like as they were playing in real time, build and train a new NLU model, customized for that kid, that child, and let them now get these small nudges towards speaking more clearly. Again, the tech is here now. The startups, I'm like, where are you at? The tech is here. Come build this thing. Children, older people, anyone, we need this, right? But the burden is on us as developers to use it. So you get to train it on your data. Now, that's good stuff. I like purple. Oh. But more importantly, the first question engineers ask me when I get to this part is like, that's all fine and good, but who owns that model? Like, it's your model. You're not gonna obviously just give it to us. Well, it turns out we are. There's a platform agnostic tool that decouples what's called inference from training. It's a machine learning term, so I'm sorry if I got too deep there. You should look it up. It's a fantastic opportunity for you to do something different, for you not to be bound by the development environment you're in. And it allows you to export your model as you choose to a vendor of your choosing. Pure control. Anyone remember the days of vendor lock-in? Again, aging myself. But there was a time where we, on purpose, I worked for IBM, built software to tie people in on purpose. And I think I felt good about it at the time. I didn't think it was bad. We don't want that anymore. And we built the software to be portable. The second thing, though, which is even more scary, is we want to make sure you can take it wherever you go. We want, oh, I keep hitting the wrong button. We want you not only to be able to port your models wherever you want, but we also want you to be able to deploy them as Kubernetes containers. Now, this is useful in the case that you have a security paradigm and you're worried about how these models will work. So you get to just put it in a container, run it in your own environment, and not be worried about it. But what if you want to go to space? Which we do. What if you want to go to the ocean and internet, or my alpaca farm, and internet is not immediately available? These containers give your applications the ability to live and breathe outside of Wi-Fi, which is an incredible, incredible thing to be thinking about, especially in the age of multi-devices and multi-channels. So this is where I will, I have 2 things I want to show you after this, which build on this, but these are all, I have to show, right, especially for you guys in like the bleachers, right, no hope of seeing that probably. It's kind of a contractual obligation in like the Speakers Guild of America. But this is a collection of all the things you can do in addition to your voice application. NLU is only the beginning. Could you reduce friction for your customers or your employees by adding voice and translation? You know, we do 9 voice translations, 9 languages in real time, 60 languages in text, real-time translation, which means we do language detection on each request. So your customers get to speak whatever language they want. They can even go back and forth across 3, 4, or 9 languages if they really choose to do that. And of course, you choose to accept it. Other things that are really interesting here is the ability for you to create decision models. Every single person who's building a skill for a product should heavily consider what it would mean if you could open up, right? I do this often. I will ask people, or I won't even ask. I'll just be like, what's your company name? And I will go in and do a search on Google and say, or Bing. Tell them I said Bing. Don't tweet that, for goodness sakes. But if I go and I search for, right, a product, I'll say like, I don't know, product FAQ. You know, I will find pages from 1994 still on the internet, and guess what? Your customers are still using those as references. And in many cases, they're still right, which is kind of interesting. But how do we leverage that? If I'm building a skill that's like a Q&A skill, right, or a company skill, how do I make sure that my company can instantly and easily access everything that was ever put on the web, that we put on the web as our own company? How do we make sure that that just becomes part of the knowledge base? I shouldn't have to feed it new stuff. I shouldn't have to create a new Excel spreadsheet. I shouldn't have to reformat it. I should just be able to point to it and go, there, and there's a SharePoint over there, and there's an Excel spreadsheet over there. I should just be able to point to my knowledge and let my Alexa skill instantly have that accessible as a natural language interface. And that is possible today. So, huge opportunity. Now, I do want to share with you, those of you in the room that are interested in like, what is the world doing? At Microsoft, we did a blind study, meaning we as Microsoft didn't know who was being asked until the very end. We asked a strategy company to go out and communicate and ask, what are you doing with AI? What are you doing with AI today, 6 months from now, a year from now, 3 years from now? This study was done last year, ended at the middle end of last year. They gave us about 416 use cases, and they were all in these 16 boxes. So good news, that's that's good work, right? If any of you don't have a startup, you can find one right now. You're welcome, right? But it goes a little bit further in that the short term, what do I want to do in the next 18 months? This is where companies want to invest. And most companies are investing. Now, you'll notice, for example, customer intelligence. How do I get smarter about what my customers are doing? Guess what? Things like Alexa, Google Assistant, right, Cortana give you analytics on what your customers like and don't like about those experiences that you can use to make it better. You can also use things like Dynamics, Power BI, right? Any number of tools to gather insights, but we have to be able to make sense of it and make changes to our applications. Then you also notice over there, predictive maintenance. Wouldn't it be great if I could tell when things are going to fail? I know I used to run a production environment for a financial company, production servers in the olden days when they were like in a cold room and no one could go in there. It would have been great to know when a NIC card would go down because I could guarantee that it would go down on the one night, like Saturday, 2 in the morning, when I actually had things like a party or wanted to sleep. It never went down on Tuesday at 10 a.m. when I was well awake in the office, right? But what would it be like if I could actually have software that could tell me when it was about to fail? Again, the tech is here. The tech has shown up. Wouldn't it be awesome if I could just be like, hey, Alexa, is my NIC card going to go down today? And she's like, 78% says yes. Good to know, right? There's a few of you who know my pain. It was bad news. Now, where I think a lot of our environment, a lot of the people in here might resonate a little bit more with than those two use cases are internal applications. The first 5 years or so, maybe the last 3 years more specifically, I've really focused on helping customers build bots that help their employees. And those bots, I really mean skills, but I didn't want to build a code base for everything. I didn't want to build a code base for Google and a code base for Alexa and a code base even for Cortana. So I was like, this can't be the way we do this. That doesn't scale. So luckily, we came up with this concept known as the bot framework. It allows you to build a single bot layer, one bot to rule them all. Yeah, I had to. And in that single bot layer, you now could publish that single bot to 12 channels, including Alexa, Google, Cortana. So I write the bot once, and I distribute it 12 places. Remember that beautiful dream I had of like being in my car or being in my house on Alexa, being in my car on Google, being in my office on Cortana? Now that's possible. The tech is here. We as devs have to take advantage of it. And there are companies, startups. I think one of our startups that we are working with at Microsoft is here from Zamo. They're building the ability for anyone in this organization. We're actually doing a workshop this week, so you can go in, and if you click my name as a speaker, you'll see all the stuff I'm talking on. But one of them is a workshop on literally how to get a single bot built and deployed to multiple channels within the context of that meeting, right? Within the context of that session. So I hope you'll come, because we've literally had people be like, oh my gosh, I'm on 3 channels in 2 hours. This is amazing. And that's the power of using this technology to meet customers where they are. So I really think that this is powerful. A couple of tech pieces that I want to show you before I'm done. I actually am doing pretty decent on time. I might give some time back. Probably not. But one of them is Neural TTS. Neural text-to-speech. I'm sure if you don't know TTS, I actually later in life realized that TTS was like on, oh gosh, here I go again, like payphones, right? They used to have, and I had no idea what that meant. Honestly, I had no idea. And now I'm like, oh my gosh, I do that every day. Anyway, it's kind of cool to put these things together. But Neural TTS, I hope this works. The video didn't work, but hopefully the audio will work. I want to give you a couple samples of speech and let you decide.
During this call, we will be making forward-looking statements, which are predictions, projections, or other statements about future events. These statements are based on current expectations and assumptions that are subject to risks and uncertainties.
Now, this statement is actually a statement that's read on every earnings call. If you were on the Microsoft earnings call, there was lots of smiles this year. Anyway, but lots of people say these words out loud, and sometimes you can tell how good their day is going by how they read this statement. It's actually kind of sad, where you're like, oh, I think you're awesome. Thanks for reading that again for the 80th time today. So there are moderators who do a bunch of things, and one of them is to read these kind of redundant statements. So let's take a listen to the second piece.
During this call, we will be making forward-looking statements which are predictions, projections, or other statements about future events. These statements are based on current expectations and assumptions that are subject to risks and uncertainties.
So again, what we want to do is think about improving the ingenuity of an individual. The person who's like, seriously, do I have to read that again? How do we make it better? How many of you would say sample 1 was a synthesized voice? That was the male voice, if you need help. A few of you. What, the girl? Okay. I'll just ask again in case you forgot to raise your hands. How many of you think sample 1 was a synthesized voice? A few more. All right, good, okay. All right, how about sample 2 being a synthesized voice? Way more. Maybe that's because we know Alexa, and I don't know. But anyway, the truth is they're both synthesized, right? And this is the perfect Turing test, right? Because the reality is we don't actually, as human beings, care that much if it's negligible. It doesn't matter to us that it sounds a little robotic if it doesn't sound horrible, right? And we've been through horrible. And so Neural TTS is the ability for us to get natural enough that people don't instantly perk up and go, oh, that's a robot. And this is, of course, only the beginning, but we've started to reach human parity in people being able to determine the difference. And I think that's really fascinating. Here's another example of something I want to show you in the financial services market. I think it's interesting. We just ended a quarter. I thought it'd be, some of us watch these things called stocks. So let's just take a look at this example.
Hi, can you give me a quote in GBP US dollar, please?
139.25.28.
Can I buy 5 million GBP US dollar, please?
Yep, filled at 139.28.
Thank you very much. Done. Bye.
Now, one of our partners, KPMG, built this. And you can see at the very end, right, no computer is going, let me make a trade. It is always, we want to improve the ingenuity of an individual. Do you know how this trade typically goes down? People are like yelling at each other on a floor and writing on a legal pad. Have you ever been writing something and someone yells something right behind you and you accidentally write what you heard instead of what you meant to write? It doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen. It increases human error being in this really loud environment. So to improve the ingenuity of these people doing these trades, we were like, oh, no problem. We could just do text to speech, or speech to text in this case. We'll listen to your audio and transcribe it. The first attempt was that, remember the umbrella I showed you earlier? The first attempt was not awesome, right? Like GPS taller. I like that currency. So how do we make it better? So one side of the umbrella was a pre-built model. That is what this baseline represents. But what happens when you can go into your customer, or you can, as a customer, go in and actually customize it to your currency, to your special terms, to your acronyms, right? What happens when I can actually customize the environment to exactly what I want, and then it works? So you could see the custom model built on trained data that the market provided is way more accurate. And the only purpose that this is it's providing is for that person not to write it down and be like, what did I write? But instead to see it pop up on an iPad, yep, that looks good. Oh no, actually that's not right. Let me verify, right? And then that person has to drag the mouse up and choose the actual task to execute. So this is how we see this technology helping people, is that it's not just about how do we naturally interface with people, how do we let them just say what they say and we interpret them, but the power is in, can I build a model that actually understands them without them changing what they say in any way? It's kind of interesting because now working at Microsoft, I was raised in the Microsoft that taught people Windows and mouse and buttons and menus and drop downs. And now as an organization, we're like, yeah, sure, you could do that, but it's not necessary. Just talk, just say it. And we'll create the technology that allows us as developers to interpret what you're saying and even build custom natural language models to understand the nuances of your business. So there's so much technology. I shared with you kind of a list. There's you'll get this deck, there's a lot of stuff in it around facial recognition, the ability to combine modalities. There's so much power in going beyond just the voice. And I think a lot of us are already there. A lot of us already have dreams of products that are completely interlaced with screens and voice, and that the environment we're in will know the difference and react to us accordingly. So I hope you'll take just a little bit of what I've shared with you today, have a tiny bit of hope that maybe that idea you had 5 years ago, 5 months ago, yesterday, is actually technically possible today. And if you think it is and you need any help, that's what I'm here for. Definitely connect with me on LinkedIn. I know there's a lot of you, but I would love to be connected. I'll be around all week, but thank you very, very much.
All right. Thank you, Noelle. Always a wonderful and inspiring speaker. Noelle, thank you so much. Thank you again. Okay, so before we bring up the next speaker, we have to do something fun. I wanted to do this at the start, but I forgot. So we're going to do a little selfie here. And I want, I think what we'll do is, if you'll just bear with me, just do, maybe we'll do the V. Can we all do that? Like that? Okay, that's great. Okay, here we go. Just let me get this thing opened up. I have enough power from the night. Okay, you ready? All right. You got them up? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, that'll go well on Twitter. How y'all doing? It's been some amazing speakers this morning, right? Some breaking news, and I am thrilled that Voice Summit is yet another platform for an announcement by a major global brand. The company that's going to come up here is the world's oldest airline, and you will be shocked. They are on the cutting edge of this market. They are on the cutting edge of voice, social interaction. They're doing voice commerce. You can book tickets. It's amazing. I've really enjoyed getting to know them, and I'm thrilled that they're coming here to this stage to make an important announcement about what they're doing in voice. Martine Vanderleeuw, please come up. Martina, excuse me, Vanderleeuw, please come up. Martina came in from Amsterdam. Her flight was late. She landed at 2:30 this morning. Let's give it up for Martina. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We look forward to your announcement.
Thank you. Well, good morning, everyone. It's been quite a journey to get here from Amsterdam. I arrived this morning at 4 a.m. traveling with some minor disruptions. And working for an airline, that's of course our reality. I work at KLM, Royal Dutch Airlines. Just a quick show of hands, who has flown with us before? Thank you, great. And maybe a bit more modest, who has heard of us? Who knows KLM? Okay, cool. I'll explain who we are. We are the oldest airline, turning 100 this year. And for us, new technology is really at the center of everything that we do. And I'll explain to you why that is so important. And how we launch our own voice. Because voice for KLM is an extremely important new interface to make travel easier and more comfortable for all our travelers. But we also felt that over the course of several years of experimenting with AI, experimenting with voice interfaces, it was quite difficult, and we felt something important was really missing, and that was our own voice. A little bit about myself. I am Global Head of Social Media at KLM. That is a team that has over 350 service agents, working in 10 languages on many different platforms 24/7 to answer any kind of question our customers may have. But we also had a technology team. So my background is both in marketing and technology. So what we do is we build new services for our customers. And what I would like to talk about today is how travel changed over time and what kind of journey we had with our DNA as a brand and looking at real customer needs, how we use voice today and how voice helped us find our voice again. So going back a little bit into history, this is our founder, Albert Plesman, who founded KLM Royal Dutch Airlines 100 years ago. Yes, we are a legacy company. We're super old, but for us what's extremely important is new technology. And that's really at the core of our DNA, of who we are as a brand. First of all, we're Dutch. We are pioneers, whether that was in the past, finding the newest routes, going there the quickest, getting the newest aircrafts. Today, that pioneering for us, it's really around digital and innovation. Second, it's about being Dutch. To us, that means we are pragmatic. We always look for solutions and how to solve things in the easiest way. And thirdly, it's about giving customers this warm, personal feel. And the essence of our business, just to explain a little bit how we work, also because not everyone is familiar with KLM yet. Well, the essence of our business over the past years has been pretty much the same. What we do is we collect people from all over the world. We fly with our partners to 500 different destinations. We collect them from all over the world. They transfer via our hub at Schiphol Airport in Amsterdam, and we make sure they reach their final destination. Our home market is really small. Only 30% of our tickets sold are being sold in the Netherlands. 70% is sold elsewhere in the world. And it means that we have to fight for every single ticket that we sell. And we have to make sure that we are top of mind in over 80 markets across the world. And that is a huge marketing challenge. And times are changing. So as we say, giving customers this one personal feel is really at the center of what we do. But 100 years ago, if you look at this picture, we had about as many employees as customers. It was extremely easy. But today, giving this personal feel is extremely difficult because we need to use technology to scale. And we need to give this personal feel to 34 million passengers every single year. So with today's technology, what we really believe is that travel should be as easy as simply packing your toothbrush, your mobile and your passport and off you go. But the reality, and also as some of you might have seen yesterday while you were traveling, well, too often this reality is simply not there yet. And to make it even more complex, if we look at customer behavior today, that's actually reinforcing this complexity because we all scroll through meters of content in our feeds, and as a brand you have to stand out in all that content. So there is a huge complexity that we all have to solve. And for us, we got this started actually, this thinking, embracing technology in a crisis, one of the biggest crises in aviation in 2010, when there was the eruption of the ash cloud in Iceland. I see some of you nodding, so maybe you were stranded and traveling. Yes, someone over there, I think he had quite an interesting story to tell. But what happened, thousands of passengers were stranded all over the world. And this is how our airport at Schiphol looked like. Lots and lots of customers, way too many service agents to help them. Our call centers were overloaded. And 2010, as you might imagine, the early days of social media, Facebook and Twitter were just up. We were discovering everything and we felt great about it. What happened is customers started to turn to Facebook and Twitter to ask us questions there. And during those early days, what we did is we posted a picture of an airplane about once a week. And we felt we were doing a terrific job. But during this moment, all of a sudden, we had started to answer to all these questions. And being Dutch and pragmatic and aiming to give all our customers this one personal feel, what we did together with a group of managers at our headquarters, we rolled up our sleeves and we started to answer all these questions. And from there on, our thinking about customer centricity was really born. And it gave us a really important lesson, and that is that we need to be where our customers are. So if we would look at the world of digital as a galaxy, and we would put ourselves a bit egocentrically in the middle with our website and our newsletter and our app, it's actually not so relevant, because what we need to do is we have to be at the planets of others. So at the planets of Amazon, of Google, of Facebook, etc. So what we need to do is we need to be where our customers are, and we need to build our ecosystem on top of the ecosystems of others. And with that insight, we started to work. And by now, we have one of the largest social media service teams. We handle about 180,000 questions from customers every single week with a team of 350 agents in 10 languages. And the beauty of this is that we get a lot of data. So over the past 10 years, with all these questions that we got in, we got to build our database around service. And these are the typical questions that we get on a daily basis. And second, what is also meant for us is that it helped us find our voice on social. So it's not about this corporate tone of voice, like, hey, this is our policy, you can't do this, you can do that. It's really about mirroring the communication style of your customer and actually being human. And that's the biggest lesson that we learned on social. And what we see today is that this strategy of being where customers are, finding your own human voice on the platforms of others, that is really paying off. So these are our servicing volumes on social and messaging today, and it's basically been growing exponentially every single year. And by now it has become the largest service channel for KLM. And that for us is a very promising signal when we look at voice. Because what we believe what we are building today, whereas social media in the past was really building equivalent of the digital town square, with the move to private messaging and private conversations, together we are building the equivalent of the digital living room. And that's reflected in our figures. 90% of all our conversations are no longer on public spaces or like Facebook or Instagram, but 90% of our conversations with our customers are on messaging. And that's what we started to leverage. So the first thing we did is that we brought all KLM.com functionalities to messaging. Get your booking confirmation, being able to check in, get updates about your flight. You can receive all these relevant notifications on Messenger, WhatsApp, WeChat, and Twitter. And this has been crucial to support our passengers throughout their full journey. So we sent over 3 million boarding passes on messaging in 2018. 60% of all our flight and airport updates are via a messaging channel. And looking forward to voice, to the age of assistance, to us these are extremely strong signals that we will get there very soon. And on top of that, it's about automating conversations or automating parts of the conversation. And we've been using artificial intelligence in our service operation since 2016. By now, 50% of all our customer interactions, so the responses that we're giving, are supported by AI. And if we use AI, we become twice as fast. And the types of use cases that you can think of are suggestions to our agents, so prompts that they can send out, or if our confidence level is high enough that we automatically send out the suggestion for them, or it are bots where a human agent is no longer in play. It is automatically classifying cases. It is taking away the administrative tasks that our service agents normally would have to perform. And the results of just 3 years are really spectacular. And with all this, so building up all these conversations, using new technology, using the power of AI and experimenting with that, voice arrived. And we started to think about what we could do, and we felt very early that we had to focus on assistant-related cases. So for us, it's not so much about content, because we're an airline, we're not a publisher. It is not so much about games, because again, we're an airline, but it's really about providing the best possible service. And this is what we have built so far.
Setting the industry standard. KLM Royal Dutch Airlines has been doing it for over 100 years. And in 2018, we saw a new opportunity to reinvent the way people travel, helping people get inspired, book, pack, and leave for the holiday, all in one experience. Introducing KLM Travel Assistant. Each service works independently with its own APIs. A special proxy layer interprets travel intentions and seamlessly routes people to the right service. We reaffirmed our innovative character in our home market. And although it's a small market, we already assist up to 1,000 people each month, with a total of 45,000 messages sent. And we've just released our travel guide on Alexa.
Looking forward to the future. KLM.
Thanks. That's not the announcement. That's what we already have. But we need to take this further, because if we look at all this, at these 4 services, we also feel that we're not performing well enough. So those 4 services, if you would ask now for KLM from your Google Assistant, you would get a sum up of services like, hey, would you like to book a trip, pack your bag, or do you need information about when to depart for the airport? So this way of approaching services and functionalities is not scalable, because you'll go back to the old world of IVR-like structures, which is something that we don't want. The second thing, if we look at these services in an isolated way, for example, assistance with packing your bag, that feels very much like a gimmick. That's not solving a true customer problem in general, but in some specific cases, it could be very relevant. So for example, Bali in nearby Indonesia is one of the few countries where you don't need to bring a malaria net when you're traveling. So that is a very relevant piece of information. But if we would brand it as KLM's Pack Assistant, obviously it is just a gimmick, which is something that we don't want. We want to provide the best service. And thirdly, what we also feel that is extremely missing is we don't stand out as a brand. If we listen to how we sound on voice, it's generic. It could be any other airline. And these are things we wanted to solve and that we have been solving over the past year. So what we did is from going voice first, so figuring out the design principles, the technical principles for developing new services, we moved to how can I help you first? So instead of asking for KLM and then getting a long list of services, we changed this to our very first question that we now ask every single user who talks with us on a smart speaker. Our first question is, how can I help you? And if we already have a service available that answers this question for you, we'll direct you to it. If not, we either direct you to a human agent or we use this piece of information to train our data. So instead of pushing our roadmap on voice, we change this. And we make a roadmap that is really customer focused or customer centric. And our technology to do this was just the first step. So what we made is we built in-house a proxy layer that is really the master intelligence of identifying the intents of the customer, directing that to the right action or skill, as well as a modular bot structure to be able to exchange pieces of the conversation between one and the other. So for example, if you ask for checking in and you also want to know how much luggage you can bring, that it is one fluid conversation that can go from one device to the other. But for us, technology first is just step one. Because again, this doesn't really make us stand out as a brand. Yes, it is a smooth service and maybe today it is still something unique. But where does really our empathy and our human approach comes in? And that is something that I'm really excited about to launch today. So over the past months, we have been working very hard to build the KLM voice. So how does KLM sound on smart speakers and on assistants? And here's our thinking that I'd love to share.
Our friendly voice has made us stand out for over 100 years.
How can I help you?
Today, the world's largest social media team receives over 180,000 messages a week. To find our true voice, we need nothing new. We just combine what's already there.
How can I help you? How can I help you?
How can I help you?
How can I help you? How can I
How can I help you?
How can I help? How can I help you?
Together, we are the voice of KLM. How can I help you?
Thanks. So what we did together with a large group of employees, we started to record our voice. And our employees have become the voice of KLM. So instead of a synthetic voice or of having a voice actor, we have asked our employees to advise and to design the KLM voice. We recorded a large number of voices, which together make one audio voice. And we are now scaling this with the use of AI to make it work across markets, cultures, and languages. And more announcements in this field will follow very soon of us on how exactly we have approached this. And to sum up what we have done in this very exciting domain of voice. Well, the first thing that we have focused on is that we tap into existing behavior, whether that is on traditional social media in 2010 on Facebook and Twitter, on messaging as we're doing today, and looking forward to the future on voice and assistance. But more importantly, what we did is we not only built the technical infrastructure and architecture to handle all these requests and to go from one bot to the other, but what we really did is we tapped into our own DNA to define our brand voice. And that has, again, helped us find our voice. And with that, I'd like to thank you.
Thank you, Martina, and congratulations on such a great project. And we look forward to hearing the voice of KLM. All right, well, we're just about ready to go to lunch, but before we do, we have a very special guest among us. We've had many this morning, and you're in Newark, the city of Newark. We chose Newark through a competitive process. Newark is a city in transformation. That doesn't happen without great leaders. And to send us off to our expos and to lunch, I want to bring up the Honorable Mayor Ross Baraka from Newark. Let's give it up for Mayor Ross Baraka. Thank you for hosting us, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Just want to say welcome. Want to thank Pete and Modev and obviously NJIT, Joe Bloom, for allowing us the opportunity to host this conference a second time. It already looks like there are more people here than it was last year. This is awesome for us in the city of Newark. Particularly, as he said, this is a growing city. We are trying to desperately become the tech hub on the East Coast here in the city. We have a bunch of venture capital that are being put into tech economy and growing tech hubs and opportunities for young people to get involved. We actually, thanks to the conference, have about 500 high school and junior high school kids that'll be going to all of the conference events and breakout sessions. So we're excited about that. I'm excited to talk to these young people when it's over, find out their experience. If you see one of them, you know, please make them feel comfortable, make them feel welcome. Let them know that voice technology is what's happening in the future, and they should take this seriously and get involved in it. We are working together to make Newark an incredible place to be. So I hope you enjoy yourselves here while you're here. Go to our restaurants down on Ferry Street. Enjoy yourself. Check out the museum if you can. NJ Pack if you have time to. Hang out at Military Park, Washington Park. There's a lot of great things for you to do. Enjoy yourselves. Thank you for choosing Newark. Thank you for being here in our great city. Have an incredible, incredible time. It just feels good to know that voice technology is being discovered, moved forward, expanded right here at NJIT in the city of Newark. God bless y'all.
Mayor, let's get a shot here, if you don't mind. Right here. Okay, so now it's time for lunch. There are 6 food trucks. There are a concession stand on this back corner. Central King also has, Campus Center has food. And there are Smashburger across the street, a lot of different restaurant options around. You've got 2 hours for lunch, plenty of time to find something to eat, but go visit our expo hall. Go visit our sponsors, say hello, and have a great time. We'll see you back in the talk sessions at 1 o'clock. Thank you so much.
Last year, we established Voice as the preeminent conference in the Voice First era, and this year we're taking it to a whole new level. Just kind of like, bam. Voice Summit is returning to Newark and will be headquartered at the campus of NJIT, New Jersey Institute of Technology. They have a brand new Wellness and Event Center, which will be the heartbeat of the conference. We expect more than 5,000 attendees over the 4 days of the conference. I'm Pete Erickson. I'm the founder of Modev, and I'm the creator of Voice Summit, the world's largest event focused on the Voice First era. People that are coming in from out of town can really enjoy what's right here in and around Newark. The bars, restaurants, music venues, and we look forward to people having a really good time and experiencing the community.
I love this summit because it has me thinking about the really cool mergers between Newark, tech, Alexa, and what the future holds.
One key difference this year at Voice is there will be a lot more interactive displays from some of the best companies in the world, walking through a smart home, experiencing what is Alexa in a car actually like.
I think having a presence at this Voice event that is, omni-industry was huge for us. Voice is the future, but it's also here.
Voice Summit will actually feature the top speakers across all content areas of the Voice First era. We'll have our keynote stage, our workshops, our breakouts, our panels, our Startup Expo. We've added a number of new activations. There will be a hackathon. There will be the Voice First Awards ceremony. There's the Voice First Challenge. So there are many ways people can actually get involved with the conference this year. We're thrilled to hear that most all sponsors are coming back this year. Microsoft and Amazon tripled their investment in this conference. People are getting on board because they realize this is the Voice First era, and Voice is the conference where things are going to happen in this space.
Let's reheat pasta.
Reheating pasta.
It's cool, right?
Yeah, I didn't know you guys put Alexa in a microwave.
Yeah, we're putting her in a lot of stuff now. But trust me, there are a lot of fails.
Like what?
Like...
Alexa, play my podcast.
When you heard that, did that surprise you? That seems exciting.
We made an Alexa dog collar. 4 dogs.
Ordering dog food. Ordering dog food.
You can bark all you want. I'm not paying for any more dog food.
Ordering gravy. Ordering sausages.
Hey, you better cancel that order.
Alexa hot tub, a sucked.
Alexa, play music. Okay.
And then there was the incident.
Wait, that was you guys.
I don't know, was it?
Powering down. Powering up. Powering down.
She says she's doing it, but I don't see anything. Do you? Holy.
Don't stop me now.
I'm not talking to you.
'Cause I'm having a good time, having a good time.
Audible members know listening has the power to change us, make us better people. With Audible, you get more. 2 Audible originals, exclusive titles you can't find anywhere else. Plus, a credit good for any audiobook and exclusive fitness and wellness programs. All with our commitment-free guarantee and always ad-free. The most inspiring minds, the most compelling stories, the best place to listen. Download Audible and start your free trial today.
Newark is a city with an amazing history.
What better way to demonstrate our commitment to the community than taking a jewel that had tarnished from years of decay, restoring, resurrecting this amazing space.
The cathedral has such a storied history. It really was a community center, a vibrant religious center, but also had a theater and also had a school attached.
The windows actually speak to some of the great inventions of social science and the humanities.
So it's just a really strong symbol for what's anchoring us on the north end. How do we make sure that corporate giving is not a charitable checkbox? How are we really, truly engaging with the city?
We're really involved with schools. We give every high school student here in Newark a Fire tablet and a free membership to Audible. Audible is committed to hiring members of the community to work here and really elevate their lives.
The talent base that's here, the educational institutions. Newark is hands down a city for innovation.
If you want to get like young, talented students who are fresh out of college with new ideas, this is the best place to do it.
I envision buzz, the energy, inspiring, motivating.
The downtown is coming back. There are other companies getting with the spirit of coming into Newark. We started a venture fund called Newark Venture Partners, which was designed to plant more little audibles that can grow large as we have. Newark's open for business, so I would encourage anybody out there with a startup idea or the CEO of a company, give me a ring.
Today, faster than ever, the world is changing because opportunity is raging. Mixed reality, changing the world we see. Intelligence to build it like we always hoped it would be. But it's not really about what technology can do. It's about how it's used by you. In the end, it's just a tool, so bring it. What's a hammer without a person to swing it? Your possibility is endless, your limits are few. So here's the real question. What will you do?
Towards the end of my schooling, I was kind of anxious because as a computer engineer, I wanted to be employed when I graduate because I have a lot of friends that aren't employed. When I first heard of this internship, I wasn't sure what, enterprise architecture was. I wasn't sure if I'd just be there to just kind of do the busy work. But once I came to Prudential, my opinion was valued. They want to hear what you have to say. The second week, we brainstormed about how new technologies can give information faster and help customers be more knowledgeable about their financial lives. And we realized that voice assistants would be a good channel to pursue. It was challenging because of all the coding that needed to be done. I was very happy that I get to apply what I learned in school, because it's one of my passions. So I would start work and then all of a sudden it's 5 o'clock and I wouldn't even recognize it because I've just been so focused. It took about 10 weeks to go from idea to the working prototype. My team supported me a lot of different ways and everyone in Prudential was super willing to help out. Before long, I actually had a job offer. It feels good when we use technology to help people with their lives. Alexa, what's the weather like today?
Right now in Hoboken, it's 76 degrees Fahrenheit.
Alexa, ask Prudential Retirement, how much do I have in my retirement account?
Your most recent account value is $311.95.
I guess I have a ways to go. I'm Anthony Satola, and I work in technology at Prudential.
Hi, Bixby. Find me a restaurant nearby. How about a French bistro? Great. Make a reservation. Bon appetit.
What's the song again?
Hi, Bixby. What song is this?
Here is what I found.
Demands are always growing, but the amount of time you have is not. Somewhere between shifting deadlines, endless revisions, complicated contracts, you still need to find that perfect voice.
This week on
Carefully stow hand luggage.
Side effects may include dry mouth.
Cut out the noise. Finding voice actors should be easy. Voices.com helps you to quickly and easily find the best voices for your project with custom auditions in as little as 24 hours. Get a voice that stands out, meets your specs, and makes your vision come to life in a way that's undeniably awesome.
This car isn't just memorable, it's unforgettable.
You deserve the win. Do without the struggle. Voices.com. Sign up for your free account today.
When I'm walking in, I'm thinking about all of the different companies that I can have some sort of impact on their success today. There's a lot of that work is through email and phone calls, and then a lot of it is face-to-face, talking to our founders regularly to understand where they are, where they need to be, how we can help. Hi, I'm Allison Williams. I'm the Director of MVP Labs at Newark Venture Partners. It's a Bridge to Seed accelerator program where we invest in 8 to 10 companies twice a year. So far, we've invested in 65 companies. Over the past 3 years, we've deployed $22 million of our capital. And if you look across our portfolio, our founders have raised over $250 million in venture capital.
My name is Wole Koksum. I'm the CEO and founder of Mobility Capital Finance, and we are a financial inclusion platform.
My name's Sam Cayucci. I'm the founder and the CEO at OneHuddle. OneHuddle is a workforce training platform. We get employees ready to work using games.
There are many advantages to basing your company out of Newark. We're an 18-minute train ride from New York City. The cost of living is much more advantageous than what you'll find in New York. Newark actually has the fastest internet in the Northeast. We are surrounded by incredible talent.
We're taking advantage of the cohort of students that Rutgers has to offer, hiring them both as interns and as full-time employees.
You also have a tremendous responsibility to wherever you start up to interact with that community and make it better and leave it better. And you want to surround yourself with people that believe in what you're doing.
The benefit of Newark Venture Partners goes way beyond capital. We have a customized expert support team that works with each company. We have 7 incredibly dedicated corporate investors who provide over 500 mentors and are also there to talk through potential pilot contract opportunities.
Our experience here at Newark Venture Partners has been a really positive one.
Demo Day is the biggest event of Labs. We host it at the end of the Labs program where our startups get to take the stage and share the incredible progress they've made and the milestones they plan to hit in the future.
You get the opportunity for all eyes to be listening and paying attention. It's really what you work so hard for as a founder.
This year we're doing it at the Audible Cathedral. It really represents Newark's tech roots being taken to the next level.
It was an important milestone in our time here with MVP because it gave us a lot of confidence.
The product that we built would have never happened if we weren't here.
This is a group of incredibly dedicated founders who are on a mission to see their vision become a reality, and I know that they will.
Art says, welcome home. Version 5.0 stands.
Need a heart full of grace, soul generated by love.
take 3.
Last year, we established Voice as the preeminent conference in the Voice First era, and this year we're taking it to a whole new level. Just kind of like, bam. Voice Summit is returning to Newark and will be headquartered at the campus of NJIT, New Jersey Institute of Technology. They have a brand new Wellness and Event Center, which will be the heartbeat of the conference. We expect more than 5,000 attendees over the 4 days of the conference. I'm Pete Erickson. I'm the founder of Modev, and I'm the creator of Voice Summit, the world's largest event focused on the Voice First era. People that are coming in from out of town can really enjoy what's right here in and around Newark. The bars, restaurants, music venues, and we look forward to people having a really good time and experiencing the community.
I love this summit because it has me thinking about the really cool mergers between Newark, tech, Alexa, and what the future holds.
One key difference this year at Voice is there will be a lot more interactive displays from some of the best companies in the world, walking through a smart home, experiencing what is Alexa in a car actually like.
I think having a presence at this Voice event that is, omni-industry was huge for us. Voice is the future, but it's also here.
Voice Summit will actually feature the top speakers across all content areas of the Voice First era. We'll have our keynote stage, our workshops, our breakouts, our panels, our Startup Expo. We've added a number of new activations. There will be a hackathon. There will be the Voice First Awards ceremony. There's the Voice First Challenge. So there are many ways people can actually get involved with the conference this year. We're thrilled to hear that most all sponsors are coming back this year. Microsoft and Amazon tripled their investment in this conference. People are getting on board because they realize this is the Voice First era, and Voice is the conference where things are going to happen in this space.
Like to reheat pasta?
Reheating pasta.
It's cool, right?
Yeah, I didn't know you guys put Alexa in a microwave.
Yeah, we're putting her in a lot of stuff now. But trust me, there are a lot of fails.
Like what?
Like...
Alexa, play my podcast.
When you heard that, did that surprise you? That seems exciting.
We made an Alexa dog collar for dogs.
Ordering dog food. Ordering dog food.
You can bark all you want. I'm not paying for any more dog food.
Ordering gravy. Ordering sausages.
Hey, you better cancel that order.
Alexa hot tub, a sucked.
Alexa, play music. Okay.
And then there was the incident.
Wait, that was you guys.
I don't know, was it?
Powering down. Powering up. Powering down.
She says she's doing it, but I don't see anything. Do you? Holy.
Don't stop me now.
I'm not talking to you.
'Cause I'm having a good time. Having a good time.
Audible members know listening has the power to change us, make us better people. With Audible, you get more. 2 Audible originals, exclusive titles you can't find anywhere else. Plus, a credit good for any audiobook and exclusive fitness and wellness programs. All with our commitment-free guarantee and always ad-free. The most inspiring minds, the most compelling stories, the best place to listen. Download Audible and start your free trial today.
Newark is a city with an amazing history.
What better way to demonstrate our commitment to the community than taking a jewel that had tarnished from years of decay, restoring, resurrecting this amazing space.
The cathedral has such a storied history. It really was a community center, a vibrant religious center, but also had a theater and also had a school attached.
The windows actually speak to some of the great inventions of social science and the humanities.
So it's just a really strong symbol for what's anchoring us on the north end. How do we make sure that corporate giving is not a charitable checkbox? How are we really, truly engaging with the city?
We're really involved with schools. We give every high school student here in Newark a Fire tablet and a free membership to Audible. Audible is committed to hiring members of the community to work here and really elevate their lives.
The talent base that's here, the educational institutions. Newark is hands down a city for innovation.
If you want to get like young, talented students who are fresh out of college with new ideas, this is the best place to do it.
I envision buzz, the energy, inspiring, motivating.
The downtown is coming back. There are other companies getting with the spirit of coming into Newark. We started a venture fund called Newark Venture Partners, which was designed to plant more little Audibles that can grow large as we have. Newark's open for business, so I would encourage anybody out there with a startup idea or the CEO of a company, give me a ring.
Today, faster than ever, the world is changing because opportunity is raging. Mixed reality, changing the world we see. Intelligence to build it like we always hoped it would be. But it's not really about what technology can do. It's about how it's used by you. In the end, it's just a tool, so bring it. What's a hammer without a person to swing it? Your possibility is endless, your limits are few. So here's the real question. What will you do?
Towards the end of my schooling, I was kind of anxious because as a computer engineer, I wanted to be employed when I graduate because I have a lot of friends that aren't employed. When I first heard of this internship, I wasn't sure what, enterprise architecture was. I wasn't sure if I'd just be there to just kind of do the busy work. But once I came to Prudential, my opinion was valued. They want to hear what you have to say. The second week, we brainstormed about how new technologies can give information faster and help customers be more knowledgeable about their financial lives. And we realized that voice assistants would be a good channel to pursue. It was challenging because of all the coding that needed to be done. I was very happy that I get to apply what I learned in school because it's one of my passions. So I would start work and then all of a sudden it's 5 o'clock and I wouldn't even recognize it because I've just been so focused. It took about 10 weeks to go from idea to the working prototype. My team supported me a lot of different ways and everyone in Prudential was super willing to help out. Before long, I actually had a job offer. It feels good when we use technology to help people with their lives. Alexa, what's the weather like today?
Right now in Hoboken, it's 76 degrees Fahrenheit.
Alexa, ask Prudential Retirement, how much do I have in my retirement account?
Your most recent account value is $311.95.
I guess I have a ways to go. I'm Anthony Satola, and I work in technology at Prudential.
Hi, Bixby. Find me a restaurant nearby. How about a French bistro? Great. Make a reservation. Bon appetit.
What's the song again? Hi, Bixby. What song is this?
Here is what I found.
Demands are always growing, but the amount of time you have is not. Somewhere between shifting deadlines, endless revisions, complicated contracts, you still need to find that perfect voice.
This week on
Carefully still hand luggage.
Side effects may include dry mouth.
Cut out the noise. Finding voice actors should be easy. Voices.com helps you to quickly and easily find the best voices for your project with custom additions in as little as 24 hours. Get a voice that stands out, meets your specs, and makes your vision come to life in a way that's undeniably awesome.
This car isn't just memorable, it's unforgettable.
You deserve the win. Do without the struggle. Voices.com. Sign up for your free account today.
When I'm walking in, I'm thinking about all of the different companies that I can have some sort of impact on their success today. There's a lot of that work is through email and phone calls, and then a lot of it is face-to-face, talking to our founders regularly to understand where they are, where they need to be, how we can help. Hi, I'm Allison Williams. I'm the Director of MVP Labs at Newark Venture Partners. It's a Bridge to Seed accelerator program where we invest in 8 to 10 companies twice a year. So far, we've invested in 65 companies. Over the past 3 years, we've deployed $22 million of our capital. And if you look across our portfolio, our founders have raised over $250 million in venture capital.
My name is Wole Koksum. I'm the CEO and founder of Mobility Capital Finance, and we are a financial inclusion platform.
My name's Sam Cayucci. I'm the founder and the CEO at OneHuddle. OneHuddle is a workforce training platform. We get employees ready to work using games.
There are many advantages to basing your company out of Newark. We're an 18-minute train ride from New York City. The cost of living is much more advantageous than what you'll find in New York. Newark actually has the fastest internet in the Northeast. We are surrounded by incredible talent.
We're taking advantage of the cohort of students that Rutgers has to offer, hiring them both as interns and as full-time employees.
You also have a tremendous responsibility to wherever you start up to interact with that community and make it better and leave it better. And you want to surround yourself with people that believe in what you're doing.
The benefit of Newark Venture Partners goes way beyond capital. We have a customized expert support team that works with each company. We have 7 incredibly dedicated corporate investors who provide over 500 mentors and are also there to talk through potential pilot contract opportunities.
Our experience here at Newark Venture Partners has been a really positive one.
Demo Day is the biggest event of Labs. We host it at the end of the Labs program where our startups get to take the stage and share the incredible progress they've made and the milestones they plan to hit in the future.
You get the opportunity for all eyes to be listening and paying attention. It's really what you work so hard for as a founder.
This year we're doing it at the Audible Cathedral. It really represents Newark's tech roots being taken to the next level.
It was an important milestone in our time here with MVP because it gave us a lot of confidence.
The product that we built would have never happened if we weren't here.
This is a group of incredibly dedicated founders who are on a mission to see their vision become a reality, and I know that they will.
Art says, welcome home. Version 5.0 stands.
Only need a heart full of grace, soul generated by love.
Scene 7, take 3.
Last year, we established Voice as the preeminent conference in the Voice First era, and this year we're taking it to a whole new level. Just kind of like, bam. Voice Summit is returning to Newark and will be headquartered at the campus of NJIT, New Jersey Institute of Technology. They have a brand new Wellness and Event Center, which will be the heartbeat of the conference. We expect more than 5,000 attendees over the 4 days of the conference. I'm Pete Erickson. I'm the founder of Modev, and I'm the creator of Voice Summit, the world's largest event focused on the Voice First era. People that are coming in from out of town can really enjoy what's right here in and around Newark. The bars, restaurants, music venues, and we look forward to people having a really good time and experiencing the community.
I love this summit because it has me thinking about the really cool mergers between Newark, tech, Alexa, and what the future holds.
One key difference this year at Voice is there will be a lot more interactive displays from some of the best companies in the world, walking through a smart home, experiencing what is Alexa in a car actually like.
I think having a presence at this Voice event that is, omni-industry was huge for us. Voice is the future, but it's also here.
Voice Summit will actually feature the top speakers across all content areas of the Voice First era. We'll have our keynote stage, our workshops, our breakouts, our panels, our Startup Expo. We've added a number of new activations. There will be a hackathon. There will be the Voice First Awards ceremony. There's the Voice First Challenge. So there are many ways people can actually get involved with the conference this year. We're thrilled to hear that most all sponsors are coming back this year. Microsoft and Amazon tripled their investment in this conference. People are getting on board because they realize this is the Voice First era, and Voice is the conference where things are going to happen in this space.
Let's reheat pasta.
Reheating pasta.
It's cool, right?
Yeah, I didn't know you guys put Alexa in a microwave.
Yeah, we're putting her in a lot of stuff now. But trust me, there are a lot of fails.
Like what?
Like...
Alexa, play my podcast.
When you heard that, did that surprise you? That seems exciting.
We made an Alexa dog collar. 4 dogs.
Ordering dog food. Ordering dog food.
You can bark all you want. I'm not paying for any more dog food.
Ordering gravy. Ordering sausages.
Hey, you better cancel that order.
Alexa hot tub. A sucked. Alexa, play music. Okay. And then there was the incident.
Wait, that was you guys?
I don't know, was it?
Powering down. Powering up. Powering down.
She says she's doing it, but I don't see anything. Do you? Holy.
Stop me now. I'm not talking to you.
'Cause I'm having a good time, having a good time.
Audible members know listening has the power to change us, make us better people. With Audible, you get more. 2 Audible originals, exclusive titles you can't find anywhere else. Plus, a credit good for any audiobook and exclusive fitness and wellness programs. All with our commitment-free guarantee and always ad-free. The most inspiring minds, the most compelling stories, the best place to listen. Download Audible and start your free trial today.
Newark is a city with an amazing history.
What better way to demonstrate our commitment to the community than taking a jewel that had tarnished from years of decay, restoring, resurrecting this amazing space.
The cathedral has such a storied history. It really was a community center, a vibrant religious center, but also had a theater and also had a school attached.
The windows actually speak to some of the great inventions of social science and the humanities.
So it's just a really strong symbol for what's anchoring us on the north end. How do we make sure that corporate giving is not a charitable checkbox? How are we really, truly engaging with the city?
We're really involved with schools. We give every high school student here in Newark a Fire tablet and a free membership to Audible. Audible is committed to hiring members of the community to work here and really elevate their lives.
The talent base that's here, the educational institutions. Newark is hands down a city for innovation.
If you want to get like young, talented students who are fresh out of college with new ideas, this is the best place to do it.
I envision buzz, the energy, inspiring, motivating.
The downtown is coming back. There are other companies getting with the spirit of coming into Newark. We started a venture fund called Newark Venture Partners, which was designed to plant more little audibles that can grow large as we have. Newark's open for business, so I would encourage anybody out there with a startup idea or the CEO of a company, give me a ring.
Today, faster than ever, the world is changing because opportunity is raging. Mixed reality, changing the world we see. Intelligence to build it like we always hoped it would be. But it's not really about what technology can do. It's about how it's used by you. In the end, it's just a tool, so bring it. What's a hammer without a person to swing it? Your possibility is endless, your limits are few. So here's the real question. What will you do?
Towards the end of my schooling, I was kind of anxious because as a computer engineer, I wanted to be employed when I graduate because I have a lot of friends that aren't employed. When I first heard of this internship, I wasn't sure what, enterprise architecture was. I wasn't sure if I'd just be there to just kind of do the busy work. But once I came to Prudential, my opinion was valued. They want to hear what you have to say. The second week, we brainstormed about how new technologies can give information faster and help customers be more knowledgeable about their financial lives. And we realized that voice assistants would be a good channel to pursue. It was challenging because of all the coding that needed to be done. I was very happy that I get to apply what I learned in school, because it's one of my passions. So I would start work and then all of a sudden it's 5 o'clock and I wouldn't even recognize it because I've just been so focused. It took about 10 weeks to go from idea to the working prototype. My team supported me a lot of different ways and everyone in Prudential was super willing to help out. Before long, I actually had a job offer. It feels good when we use technology to help people with their lives. Alexa, what's the weather like today?
Right now in Hoboken, it's 76 degrees Fahrenheit.
Alexa, ask Prudential Retirement, how much do I have in my retirement account?
Your most recent account value is $311.95.
I guess I have a ways to go. I'm Anthony Satola, and I worked in technology at Prudential.
Hi, Bixby. Find me a restaurant nearby. How about a French bistro? Great. Make a reservation. Bon appetit.
What's the song again?
Hi, Bixby. What song is this?
Here's what I found. Demands are always growing, but the amount of time you have is not. Somewhere between shifting deadlines, endless revisions, complicated contracts, you still need to find that perfect voice.
This week on
Carefully stow hand luggage.
Side effects may include dry mouth.
Cut out the noise. Finding voice actors should be easy. Voices.com helps you to quickly and easily find the best voices for your project with custom additions in as little as 24 hours. Get a voice that stands out, meets your specs, and makes your vision come to life in a way that's undeniably awesome.
This car isn't just memorable, it's unforgettable.
You deserve the win. Do without the struggle. Voices.com. Sign up for your free account today.
When I'm walking in, I'm thinking about all of the different companies that I can have some sort of impact on their success today. There's a lot of that work is through email and phone calls, and then a lot of it is face-to-face, talking to our founders regularly to understand where they are, where they need to be, how we can help. Hi, I'm Allison Williams. I'm the Director of MVP Labs at Newark Venture Partners. It's a Bridge to Seed accelerator program where we invest in 8 to 10 companies twice a year. So far, we've invested in 65 companies. Over the past 3 years, we've deployed $22 million of our capital. And if you look across our portfolio, our founders have raised over $250 million in venture capital.
My name is Wole Koksum. I'm the CEO and founder of Mobility Capital Finance, and we are a financial inclusion platform.
My name's Sam Cayucci. I'm the founder and the CEO at OneHuddle. OneHuddle is a workforce training platform. We get employees ready to work using games.
There are many advantages to basing your company out of Newark. We're an 18-minute train ride from New York City. The cost of living is much more advantageous than what you'll find in New York. Newark actually has the fastest internet in the Northeast. We are surrounded by incredible talent.
We're taking advantage of the cohort of students that Rutgers has to offer, hiring them both as interns and as full-time employees.
You also have a tremendous responsibility to wherever you start up to interact with that community and make it better and leave it better. And you want to surround yourself with people that believe in what you're doing.
The benefit of Newark Venture Partners goes way beyond capital. We have a customized expert support team that works with each company. We have 7 incredibly dedicated corporate investors who provide over 500 mentors and are also there to talk through potential pilot contract opportunities.
Our experience here at Newark Venture Partners has been a really positive one.
Demo Day is the biggest event of Labs. We host it at the end of the Labs program where our startups get to take the stage and share the incredible progress they've made and the milestones they plan to hit in the future.
You get the opportunity for all eyes to be listening and paying attention. It's really what you work so hard for as a founder.
This year we're doing it at the Audible Cathedral. It really represents Newark's tech roots being taken to the next level.
It was an important milestone in our time here with MVP because it gave us a lot of confidence.
The product that we built would have never happened if we weren't here.
This is a group of incredibly dedicated founders who are on a mission to see their vision become a reality, and I know that they will.
Art says, welcome home.
Version 5.0 stands.
Need a heart full of grace, soul generated by love.
Take 3.
Last year, we established Voice as the preeminent conference in the Voice First era, and this year we're taking it to a whole new level. Just kind of like, bam. Voice Summit is returning to Newark and will be headquartered at the campus of NJIT, New Jersey Institute of Technology. They have a brand new Wellness and Event Center, which will be the heartbeat of the conference. We expect more than 5,000 attendees over the 4 days of the conference. I'm Pete Erickson. I'm the founder of Modev, and I'm the creator of Voice Summit, the world's largest event focused on the Voice First era. People that are coming in from out of town can really enjoy what's right here in and around Newark. The bars, restaurants, music venues, and we look forward to people having a really good time and experiencing the community.
I love this summit because it has me thinking about the really cool mergers between Newark, tech, Alexa, and what the future holds.
One key difference this year at Voice is there will be a lot more interactive displays from some of the best companies in the world, walking through a smart home, experiencing what is Alexa in a car actually like.
I think having a presence at this Voice event that is, omni-industry was huge for us. Voice is the future, but it's also here.
Voice Summit will actually feature the top speakers across all content areas of the Voice First era. We'll have our keynote stage, our workshops, our breakouts, our panels, our Startup Expo. We've added a number of new activations. There will be a hackathon. There will be the Voice First Awards ceremony. There's the Voice First Challenge. So there are many ways people can actually get involved with the conference this year. We're thrilled to hear that most all sponsors are coming back this year. Microsoft and Amazon tripled their investment in this conference. People are getting on board because they realize this is the Voice First era, and Voice is the conference where things are going to happen in this space.
Like to reheat pasta?
Reheating pasta. It's cool, right?
Yeah, I didn't know you guys put Alexa in a microwave.
Yeah, we're putting her in a lot of stuff now.
But trust me, there are a lot of fails.
Like what?
Like...
Alexa, play my podcast.
When you heard that, did that surprise you?
Work seems exciting.
We made an Alexa dog collar. 4 dogs.
Ordering dog food. Ordering dog food.
You can bark all you want. I'm not paying for any more dog food.
Ordering gravy. Ordering sausages.
Hey, you better cancel that order.
Alexa hot tub, a sucked.
Alexa, play music.
Okay.
And then there was the incident.
Wait, that was you guys?
I don't know, was it?
Powering down. Powering up. Powering down.
She says she's doing it, but I don't see anything. Do you? Holy.
Stop me now.
I'm not talking to you.
'Cause I'm having a good time, having a good time.
Audible members know listening has the power to change us, make us better people. With Audible, you get more. 2 Audible originals, exclusive titles you can't find anywhere else. Plus, a credit good for any audiobook and exclusive fitness and wellness programs. All with our commitment-free guarantee and always ad-free. The most inspiring minds, the most compelling stories, the best place to listen. Download Audible and start your free trial today.
Newark is a city with an amazing history. What better way to demonstrate our commitment to the community than taking a jewel that had tarnished from years of decay, restoring, resurrecting this amazing space.
The cathedral has such a storied history. It really was a community center, a vibrant religious center, but also had a theater and also had a school attached.
The windows actually speak to some of the great inventions of social science and the humanities.
So it's just a really strong symbol for what's anchoring us on the north end. How do we make sure that corporate giving is not a charitable checkbox? How are we really, truly engaging with the city?
We're really involved with schools. We give every high school student here in Newark a Fire tablet and a free membership to Audible. Audible is committed to hiring members of the community to work here and really elevate their lives.
The talent base that's here, the educational institutions. Newark is hands down a city for innovation.
If you want to get like young, talented students who are fresh out of college with new ideas, this is the best place to do it.
I envision buzz, the energy, inspiring, motivating.
The downtown is coming back. There are other companies getting with the spirit of coming into Newark. We started a venture fund called Newark Venture Partners, which was designed to plant more little Audibles that can grow large as we have. Newark's open for business, so I would encourage anybody out there with a startup idea or the CEO of a company, give me a ring.
Today, faster than ever, the world is changing because opportunity is raging. Mixed reality, changing the world we see. Intelligence to build it like we always hoped it would be. But it's not really about what technology can do. It's about how it's used by you. In the end, it's just a tool, so bring it. What's a hammer without a person to swing it? Your possibility is endless, your limits are few. So here's the real question. What will you do?
Towards the end of my schooling, I was kind of anxious because as a computer engineer, I wanted to be employed when I graduate because I have a lot of friends that aren't employed. When I first heard of this internship, I wasn't sure what, enterprise architecture was. I wasn't sure if I'd just be there to just kind of do the busy work. But once I came to Prudential, my opinion was valued. They want to hear what you have to say. The second week, we brainstormed about how new technologies can give information faster and help customers be more knowledgeable about their financial lives. And we realized that voice assistants would be a good channel to pursue. It was challenging because of all the coding that needed to be done. I was very happy that I get to apply what I learned in school because it's one of my passions. So I would start work and then all of a sudden it's 5 o'clock and I wouldn't even recognize it because I've just been so focused. It took about 10 weeks to go from idea to the working prototype. My team supported me a lot of different ways and everyone in Prudential was super willing to help out. Before long, I actually had a job offer. It feels good when we use technology to help people with their lives. Alexa, what's the weather like today?
Right now in Hoboken, it's 76 degrees Fahrenheit.
Alexa, ask Prudential Retirement, how much do I have in my retirement account?
Your most recent account value is $311.95.
I guess I have a ways to go. I'm Anthony Satola, and I worked in technology at Prudential.
Hi, Bixby. Find me a restaurant nearby. How about a French bistro? Great. Make a reservation. Bon appetit.
What's the song again?
Hi, Bixby. What song is this?
Here is what I found. Demands are always growing, but the amount of time you have is not. Somewhere between shifting deadlines, endless revisions, complicated contracts, you still need to find that perfect voice.
This week on
Carefully still hand luggage.
Side effects may include dry mouth.
Cut out the noise. Finding voice actors should be easy. Voices.com helps you to quickly and easily find the best voices for your project with custom additions in as little as 24 hours. Get a voice that stands out, meets your specs, and makes your vision come to life in a way that's undeniably awesome.
This car isn't just memorable, it's unforgettable.
You deserve the win. Do without the struggle. Voices.com. Sign up for your free account today.
When I'm walking in, I'm thinking about all of the different companies that I can have some sort of impact on their success today. There's a lot of that work is through email and phone calls, and then a lot of it is face-to-face, talking to our founders regularly to understand where they are, where they need to be, how we can help. Hi, I'm Allison Williams. I'm the Director of MVP Labs at Newark Venture Partners. It's a Bridge to Seed accelerator program where we invest in 8 to 10 companies twice a year. So far, we've invested in 65 companies. Over the past 3 years, we've deployed $22 million of our capital. And if you look across our portfolio, our founders have raised over $250 million in venture capital.
My name is Wole Koksum. I'm the CEO and founder of Mobility Capital Finance, and we are a financial inclusion platform.
My name's Sam Cayucci. I'm the founder and the CEO at OneHuddle. OneHuddle is a workforce training platform. We get employees ready to work using games.
There are many advantages to basing your company out of Newark. We're an 18-minute train ride from New York City. The cost of living is much more advantageous than what you'll find in New York. Newark actually has the fastest internet in the Northeast. We are surrounded by incredible talent.
We're taking advantage of the cohort of students that Rutgers has to offer, hiring them both as interns and as full-time employees.
You also have a tremendous responsibility to wherever you start up, to interact with that community and make it better and leave it better. And you want to surround yourself with people that believe in what you're doing.
The benefit of Newark Venture Partners goes way beyond capital. We have a customized expert support team that works with each company. We have 7 incredibly dedicated corporate investors who provide over 500 mentors and are also there to talk through potential pilot contract opportunities.
Our experience here at Newark Venture Partners has been a really positive one.
Demo Day is the biggest event of Labs. We host it at the end of the Labs program where our startups get to take the stage and share the incredible progress they've made and the milestones they plan to hit in the future.
You get the opportunity for all eyes to be listening and paying attention. It's really what you work so hard for as a founder.
This year we're doing it at the Audible Cathedral. It really represents Newark's tech roots being taken to the next level.
It was an important milestone in our time here with MVP because it gave us a lot of confidence.
The product that we built would have never happened if we weren't here.
This is a group of incredibly dedicated founders who are on a mission to see their vision become a reality, and I know that they will.
Art says, welcome home. Version 5.0 stands.
Need a heart full of grace, soul generated by love.
Scene 7, take 3.
Last year, we established Voice as the preeminent conference in the Voice First era, and this year we're taking it to a whole new level. Just kind of like, bam. Voice Summit is returning to Newark and will be headquartered at the campus of NJIT, New Jersey Institute of Technology. They have a brand new Wellness and Event Center, which will be the heartbeat of the conference. We expect more than 5,000 attendees over the 4 days of the conference. I'm Pete Erickson. I'm the founder of Modev, and I'm the creator of Voice Summit, the world's largest event focused on the Voice First era. People that are coming in from out of town can really enjoy what's right here in and around Newark. The bars, restaurants, music venues, and we look forward to people having a really good time and experiencing the community.
I love this summit because it has me thinking about the really cool mergers between Newark, Tech, Alexa, and what the future holds.
One key difference this year at Voice is there will be a lot more interactive displays from some of the best companies in the world, walking through a smart home, experiencing what is Alexa in a car actually like.
I think having a presence at this Voice event that is, omni-industry was huge for us. Voice is the future, but it's also here.
Voice Summit will actually feature the top speakers across all content areas of the Voice First era. We'll have our keynote stage, our workshops, our breakouts, our panels, our Startup Expo. We've added a number of new activations. There will be a hackathon. There will be the Voice First Awards ceremony. There's the Voice First Challenge. So there are many ways people can actually get involved with the conference this year. We're thrilled to hear that most all sponsors are coming back this year. Microsoft and Amazon tripled their investment in this conference.